Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday, and it is November the 3rd. Welcome on this very sunny November day here in Southern California. It doesn't feel like summer has ended, though Thanksgiving's coming up. We're going to have a really lively, fun discussion today, and so I want to introduce my co-host on Mondays all the time, the guy with the fresh cut.
Yo.
Look at him with his hair. Looking sharp, my brother. How you doing?
Good, man. Crazy weekend. How you doing?
I was thinking about it. I was saying I haven't gotten to spend a lot of time with Tom recently. Like, we haven't hung out.
No. Yeah, for a few weeks.
Like, there hasn't been any hanging of the out, which means you go out and you hang. And so there's a lot of stuff. Usually we come up with our brilliant, good ideas when you and I hang out together.
Yeah, that's right. The world's like falling apart.
Quite often, you and I will be hanging out somewhere talking, and we'll bring up a subject, and then we'll talk for like 45 minutes to like an hour and a half or something. And then we go, dude, why couldn't this be the podcast? Why couldn't this just be recorded?
Honestly, those conversations are sometimes so much better than the podcasts. And I'm just like, I can't remember that stuff again. That was just at the moment.
And you can't redo it.
No.
Like, it's just impossible to redo that.
Yeah.
But again, that's one of those things where I look back on it, Tom, and I go, did it really need to be recorded? Because I feel like some things should just remain... I don't want to say private, but like not blasted out.
Yeah.
But we try to showcase that here. We're going to have a fun discussion today. There's a number of things happening. And welcome to everybody. We'll drop a comment, say hi. Tell us where you're joining from. That'd be really nice. And I'll read some of the comments out before we get into it. Ben Shapiro is trending. We all woke up this morning with Ben Shapiro dropping a bomb.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's going after Nick Fuentes. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Nick Fuentes.
Is this gentleman of Spanish descent?
Yeah, he's half Mexican.
He's a Mexican guy.
I mean, I think his dad is half Mexican.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's like 25% Mexican.
Yeah, I think he's about 27, 28, 30 years old, something like that.
Yeah, he's young.
Yeah, he's a young chap. And I've seen some stuff from him. I don't pay too much attention to people who whine and nag like for 3 hours on videos. That just bugs me. I know Tucker had him on. I haven't seen that entire thing with Tucker. But I did see a little clip of it where the guy goes, oh, I woke up, and I think I mentioned this on Friday, but he's like, oh, I woke up on whatever the date was. And he goes, and he goes, why do you remember that date? He goes, oh, because it's Stalin's birthday.
Yeah.
He goes, I admire him. And then I was like, I just don't like this guy already.
Yeah. I agree.
People do not realize how insanely evil Joseph Stalin was. How absolutely demented that individual was. Now, for those that might not know, I was born not in the United States. Neither was Tom. But I was born in Armenia. But I was born in Armenia in 1985, which makes me 40 years old. And in 1985, Armenia was under the Soviet Union. It was a part of the Soviet Union. It was one of the Soviet republics. We gained our independence from that hellhole about 4, 5, 6 years after that, depending on when you want to, when Armenia declared independence, when communism fell in Russia and all that stuff. And I've heard stories about Joseph Stalin. I've heard stories from people who were exiled to Siberia. Let me rephrase that. I've heard stories from my father who had friends who were exiled to Siberia by Joseph Stalin for as simple of a thing as saying Joseph Stalin was an idiot. That's it. That was their crime, to be exiled for like 30 years to Siberia. And so for anybody who comes out there and says something like, I admire Joseph Stalin, for me is just, you're an absolute clown. And for someone like Tucker Carlson to not push back. And he actually like evades that. He kind of laughs it off and moves on. It's like, bro, challenge him. Tell him like Joseph Stalin was an idiot. How do you admire someone so stupid? And again, I don't know. I can't judge motives. We don't necessarily try it. We try not to do that very much. But, it could be sometimes with podcasts and things of that sort. Your producers came to you or something like that and said, hey, let's have this guy on. We'll get good views, good clicks, and X, Y, and Z. And you had that guy on. And you don't really want to go after him hard. But you're a journalist, Tucker. You're a journalist. We expect that. We're going to talk about what conservatism means, what it should mean, and whether is there actually kind of a schism happening within modern conservatism? Is it not? Is there the appearance of that and it's not? Is it actually happening? Are these people kind of being grouped in with us that are, I would say, actually conservative, but they're not conservative, but they get grouped in with us sometimes because the left groups them in, like they're the far right folks. Maybe a left-leaning individual might say the same thing to us and say, hey, well, you shouldn't be grouping the far, communist liberals like Zoran Mamdani. Is that what his name?
Yeah, Mamdani.
The only thing I would say is that he's actually part of your political party. But, these are far left, far right, respectively, which in a very strange way, in my mind, if you're like really far right, you kind of circle around and you become left.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's my observation, partly because, again, we'll define what it means to be conservative, and then we'll see whether these people actually meet the standards of being a conservative individual, or do they not, or do they partly, or is it something else, right? So those are the sort of stuff we're talking about. Ben Shapiro's video, I haven't seen it all. I've seen parts of it. You've seen it. Right, Tom?
Yeah.
Did you see the Tucker interview?
Partly like snippets of Fuentes and Tucker. But I've been following, when I say following, I mean on social media. Mm-hmm. I've been following Nick Fuentes for a long time now. Probably since his name came up like into the Trump first term. Probably sometime around there. And I could tell you this much. I definitely see the appeal, but it's a very dishonest way of appealing to people. And dude, my brain is exploding with so much happening right now.
Yeah.
It's actually insane. But Nick Fuentes reminds me of the guy that the easy pickings, it's like standing outside of a school after a tough finals week and going like, I want to run for school president and I'm promising no homework or something like that. And it's like, yeah, duh. I'm sure a lot of people would be supportive of that. It's that kind of guy where it's like something happens and where the blame could easily lie or where you could get the most action or support from. So you just like trauma dump on that thing. That's what Fuentes reminds me of. But again, it's really difficult, Art. You know this because there's a lot we actually agree on too. Like Nick Fuentes is this is where the conversation comes in. What is it to be a conservative?
Yes.
Because Nick Fuentes is very anti-abortion.
Yeah.
Nick Fuentes is very, anti-transgenderism or transgender surgeries and things like that. So it's like, it's tough, man. It becomes tough.
Okay, so here's the thing, Tom, and maybe this is a challenge to you or to us or whatever. Conservatism should not be defined by what a person is against.
Yeah, definitely
necessarily,
not. Yeah.
Right? Because you look, and this is again goes back to the political conversation of there were at a time, and there might still be some, very few, Democrats who were pro-life Democrats. But it's like that doesn't necessarily make them a conservative because they're pro-life.
Definitely, yeah.
For the same reason, you can be an atheist and be pro-life. You can be against abortion. Doesn't make you a Christian. You don't have the same arguments against it, and so on and so forth, right? So.
Again, but it's a radical position. You get what I'm saying? Like if there was a Democrat, let's say 30 years ago, that said, I believe in this and childcare and this, and then, oh yeah, by the way, I'm also very against abortion. I'm pro-life.
Yeah.
That weighs enough where I would be like, oh, I could see myself voting for this person in political office.
Yeah.
Like I could see this being a viable option because that stance is so important to us conservatives. The reason I bring it up is because conservatism socially is defined by some of those stuff, right? Abortion, gay marriage, immigration.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not necessarily in line with that. Okay. Here's what I'm going to ask our audience, folks in there. I think Nick Quint is in here. Nick, you share a name with this guy, so we got to be very careful.
Nick Fuentes.
Very careful, Nick Quint. Nick Fuentes, Nick Quint. Careful. By the way, big shout out to Nick Quint. They had the baby.
Oh, no way.
Big shout out. Love you, brother.
Amazing,
I've liked all your, like, not all, but a lot of your Twitter pictures and the Facebook stuff. I hope you're getting rest and sleep, and that the baby and your wife are doing just fine, brother. We need to celebrate this.
Yes, I have some things we can celebrate with.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, we're due for a nice barbecue, so we'll celebrate, and you can bring the wife and the baby as well, babies. So. Look, this is a good point, but what I'm going to ask you guys to do right now is write in definitions of conservatism. I have a definition pulled up, and my definition, I specifically told ChatGPT to give me a definition from a specific person that I really like. Okay? So you guys drop in what your definition of conservatism is. So look what Nick's saying. Nick says, when conservative includes Dave Rubin, Alex Jones, Ben Shapiro, Thomas Massey, David French, and beyond, we've got to have a serious debate over the meaning and purpose of conservatism. Yeah, I mean, like, I watch Dave Rubin stuff sometimes, but I'll give you an example. The other day, I watched it and I was like, oh, Dave, you're not being fair here. And this was a video he made against Zoran Mamdani, or as our very good friend Aura here says, Zoran Rob Zombie. Zoran said about his aunt situation, right? He said, oh, my aunt, and they said, oh, your aunt lives in a different place. She doesn't wear a hijab. And he said, well, no, that's my dad's cousin. She's my aunt. And then for some reason, Dave Rubin chose to make this an issue where he was like, no, that your aunt is your aunt, your auntie. And I'm like, dude, how blind can you be to Middle Eastern culture?
I thought the same exact thing.
Like,
that's so
you
funny.
Can't be intentionally stupid. Where I'm like, in support of the stuff you're saying. But brother, for people from that part of the world, anybody related to your dad or mom is an aunt. Your freaking neighbors are your aunts and uncles. The older ones are your grandparents.
Yeah.
And you made this an issue. And this is the thing that bugs me about conservatives at times, where they kind of just ignore the shared experience, you can say, of like other groups of people around the world and the way they view the world, like their worldview.
Yeah.
It's completely fine for him to call that lady my aunt.
So here's the weird part. These would be the conservatives that are the ones Nick Fuentes is calling out.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy world, right? So the cringe conservatives on Fox News are like, Zoran Mamdani called and it's not even his aunt, and he's such a liar. And you're just like, dude, you're giving him wins.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a person sitting there and watching like Fox News like fight about whether this is this guy's aunt or whether he like used like halal in a sentence or something like that, like, dude, you're gonna get destroyed. More people are gonna go towards him. So
here's the thing. Then it's gonna show from other people, intelligent people. Okay, intelligent people on the left are gonna look at this and say, look how dumb and stupid and racist these people are.
Yeah.
That they don't even acknowledge the fact that folks in other countries don't just refer to their biological aunts and uncles as aunt and uncle. It's far beyond that.
Yeah.
I mean, quite often, as a matter of fact, in Armenian culture, specifically Armenians from Armenia, they will refer to their first cousins as their brother or sister. They'll introduce, they'll be like, this is my brother.
We also don't call our parents by their first name and stuff.
Yeah, because that's...
Jim! I'm tired of you disciplining me, Jim.
For some reason, I was thinking about a female's name, and it was Jill.
Oh, wow, Jim and Jill.
Jim and Jill, there they are. And they're disobedient children. So I'm gonna read this. So here's what I told ChatGPT. I said, give me a definition of conservatism. Now ChatGPT knows me now. We're good. You know, we're on like pretty good terms. So it knows kind of what I'm looking for, which I don't necessarily like very much. But it says, if you want I can. Oh, sorry. That's the later on. Okay, it says, here's a solid, nuanced definition you can use: philosophical, political, and moral in scope. Because, it knows what I want because, we want to be deep thinkers. It says, conservatism is a worldview and political philosophy that seeks to preserve what is good, true, and time-tested in human society by emphasizing continuity with inherited traditions, moral order, and prudence in the face of change. It values institutions, practices, and beliefs that have endured because they reflect accumulated human wisdom rather than abstract ideals or revolutionary impulses. That's pretty decent. Okay. At its core, conservatism maintains that human nature is imperfect and limited, that social order requires moral and cultural foundations, often rooted in religion or natural law, and that change should be cautious and incremental rather than radical and utopian. Now, you can hint that's a reaction to like communism and the way non-conservatives. Now it asks me whether I want to give a Christian definition and stuff, and I was like, no, define conservatism the way Os Guinness would define it. Now, if you don't know who Os Guinness is
this the Guinness book, World Book of Records or whatever?
No, this is the Guinness beer.
Oh, okay.
You actually don't know about Os Guinness?
No idea.
I actually have a book sitting back there signed by Os Guinness called Fool's Talk. It's about apologetics. This is Os Guinness. Os Guinness is a Christian. Os Guinness studied the transitions on ECAM are taking a long time. I did some research on it, and it seems like other people are having the same issues. So waiting for ECAM to come up with an update. So this is Os Guinness, guys. This is the book I have back there, by the way, Fool's Talk. Os Guinness studied under Francis Schaeffer. Os Guinness is a Christian. He's a social commentator. He's one of the best speakers, if not the best speaker I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
No question about it.
That's saying a lot.
And
you
lot.
sit next to me all the time.
Yeah, I know. I once saw Os Guinness get up and give a lecture for about 45 minutes about U.S. history, law, constitution, all this stuff. He had zero notes with him. He put his hands in his pocket, was wearing a phenomenal jacket, by the way. He's a British guy that's made the United States his home. He was born, I think he was born in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, he was born in the Republic of China. Great story. I think his great-grandfather started Guinness. The gentleman's name was Arthur Guinness, who started Guinness, the beer
That's why
company.
you like him.
No, I like him. I don't actually like Guinness that much, but I did drink Guinness with Os Guinness one time.
Oh, did you?
I had Guinness with Guinness. So, he's got amazing. So I trust him a lot because his political philosophy and conservatism is of a certain kind that I admire. And so I said, define it the way Os Guinness would. It says, excellent. Os Guinness's understanding of conservatism isn't primarily political. It's moral, cultural, and spiritual. His focus is on truth, tradition, and transcendence, rather than mere partisan alignment. And this is what I was talking about, Tom. It's not just about people who are against or for something. It's sort of become that. And let's stop and have a conversation about this, and I'll go back to reading this definition. I think one of the issues that we've seen with the rise of Trump, let's just call it Trumpism, okay, or MAGA movement or whatever. One of the things we've seen with the rise of it is it's taken in people that otherwise would not be in conservatism. Again, Dave Rubin is a good example of this. Okay, Dave Rubin was...
But can I stop you there?
Go ahead.
I know you're trying to make a larger point, but who would be in conservatism before that? Like George W. Bush?
Not necessarily. Yeah, I'm not making an argument on the political
because I'm trying
end.
to think. While you're saying this, I'm trying to think about a time where, let's say, the tent wasn't as large and these people wouldn't be welcomed. But what was conservatism?
The tent was still large, including a bunch of people. I think it's gotten larger. Okay. I actually think even during the times of George Bush and all that stuff, true conservatives are actually a minority within within the Republican Party.
Could you point to anyone at in that early 2000s era, just because we're more
George
familiar with
Bush.
No, and say they were a true conservative. Like and obviously let's say political figure, because that's more obvious than just like anyone in the world. Who would be a political figure from the 2000s that you would say was a true conservative?
That's so difficult, because now I got to go back and think about.
I don't think you'll find one. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
I mean, I don't think you'll find one. Or here, this is the difficult part.
We'll ask the chat to help me.
Yeah, because the Congress is huge. The Congress is huge, right? So
Yeah.
the House of Reps is huge. A lot of them are unknown, but there's like the Senate they're the popular dudes, right? Like everyone knows the senators.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like that was such a weird era of conservatism. So here's what I'm trying to say. I'd rather have the Nick Fuentes conservative movement kind of in my face, bothering me all the time, than the George Bush conservative movement, which was actually not aligned with a lot of my values, but would sort of massage its way in where it would be like the appropriate conservative.
I think the thing is, I think a lot of these guys were centrists rather than conservative the way I would have liked them to be conservative.
Yeah.
And that's partly why they got elected, in my opinion. Because they were able they'd be able to pull in individuals who are independent or unsure. And I think we've become a bit more polarized in various ways. I think that's a good challenge. We can think about that. And I thing is, I can't think of anyone because I can't say politics is the thing that I was thinking about during those years where I was just engaged in that sense or like thought about. But let's see what the chat drops.
Sarah Palin, like Sarah.
No, come on, guys, give us like normal stuff, please. Like these guys are telling us stuff from when they were like 12, 13 years old. Like your age is very obvious here by naming those guys. Like I wanted to say Condoleezza Rice or something like that, right? But I don't know much about Condoleezza Rice's.
Yeah, that's the
thing. Political.
Anyways, make your larger 10 points.
So here's what Os Guinness is saying, right? This is the way that is being defined. Is that let's go back. Where was I? Partisan. Okay, here's the definition. Here's the way that it says: conservatism is the commitment to conserve what is true, good, and beautiful, to preserve the moral and spiritual foundations without which freedom, order, and civilization collapse. It is not the defense of the past for its own sake, but the stewardship of enduring truths in the face of cultural amnesia and moral drift. True conservatism, Guinness would say, begins with first principles, not nostalgia. So that's one of the issues, right? Like people sitting there and going things like, oh man, the 50s were really good in America. And then what's the typical response, like from a liberal side, is, well, hey, they were maybe good for you because you're a white dude, but they weren't good for black people. They weren't good for, minorities who had to change their last names because they couldn't get jobs. I know Armenians, by the way, who had to change their names and last names so that they wouldn't get racial abuse in Fresno, of all places. So the idea is that it's not just about nostalgia, right? It recognizes that freedom requires virtue, that virtue requires faith, and that the task of each generation is to hand down what is worth keeping. Because there's clearly things not worth keeping in every generation. Not merely what is old, but what is permanently right. Okay? In his framing, almost done here. In his framing, conservatism is less about politics than about cultural faithfulness. The responsibility to remember, restore, and resist. To remember the truths that made the West free, to restore them where they have been lost, and to resist the coercive illusions of relativism, secularism, and radical progressivism.
Yeah.
Okay, now there's a lot there. We have it on the screen. I think you can see it. You can see that, right? Should I make that bigger for you?
Yeah. No, I can see it.
You don't need glasses?
No, I'm good.
Okay. You're not lying, right? It's okay to wear glasses, by the way.
I'm still good. I'm still a 20/20.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason why I say that is because if we take an actual definition, something that's a proper working definition, well thought out definition, then we can ask questions like, is Donald Trump a conservative? Is Nick Fuentes a conservative? Like any one of those questions, and then see whether they fit the bill or not.
So here's my problem. And I'm going to push back. I usually don't push back with you.
Was it 2-3 weeks ago we started yelling at each other? That was great. That was great.
No, I'm going to push back, not at what you're saying, but at the actual fruit that it bears to think about things in this definition.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like religious conversations, right, about Christianity, apologetics, we define terms and then it becomes easier to have the conversation.
That's right.
It's like, do we accept these terms? When it comes to politics, this is a losing method. Let me tell you why. Because we're here doing what should be done. There's a mosquito in here, which is trying to define what we believe, which is the most important thing when you're trying to. So if you're trying to create a party, like what Charlie Kirk was doing, right? You have to first define what are our beliefs. You can't have someone that's completely in opposition to what you believe being part of that stage, right? But we're reading a definition here, and meanwhile, there's a guy decorating his little office with his cute mustache, Nick Fuentes, and he's sitting down and he's just blurting stuff out, like this is a Christian country. We're men. We're Christian men. Like women should stop voting and women should be raped and stuff like that. And he's like, I know it's all the Jews. All the problems you have, it's the Jews. And so like, there's these hints of there are truly hints of conservatism and things I completely agree with, thrown and mixed with insanity. But what happens is, I'm telling you, man, because I'm sort of at that generation where I'm right past it, but I could have still been there, late millennial, where they are now defining what it means to be conservative. Yeah. So you can throw out definitions and stuff all we want, and they are true. That was a beautiful definition, but until we're done defining it and reading it, 10,000 young men have listened to Nick Fuentes call Israel the biggest enemy in the world. And so here's my question: is at this point, is it even worth trying to figure out the true definition of conservatism, or are we like? I could see, sorry if I'm going too long, I could see 20, 30 years ago, what's his name? Mr. Guinness, right? Mr. Guinness would come out on stage and, people have bought tickets to see Mr. Guinness and he gives this speech and then there's publications there. Mr. Guinness gave some profound statement. Now, Mr. Guinness would be completely like overrun by a bunch of people on social media that have a bigger reach than Mr. Guinness, right? So this is my problem. How do you fight back against Nick Fuentes, right?
Exactly like the way we are right now. That's how. I don't have the following to fight back against Nick Fuentes on that scale, right? But Ben Shapiro does. Ben Shapiro can get out there and say this guy is not a conservative, right? Not putting words in the mouth of Ben Shapiro. I'm just saying he can. Tucker Carlson could have, by actually sitting down and saying, hey, you say you're a conservative. What kind of a conservative are you? Explain that to me. Pushed back, actually, which he didn't. Like, how can a conservative, let's just say, here's what I would have asked Nick Fuentes. Oh, man, I admire Stalin and stuff. Wait, hang on, bro. How can a conservative admire Stalin?
Yeah.
Like, one of the founders of communism. Forget how evil Stalin was. Forget him being a dictator. This guy was one of the founders of communism. He was clearly a socialist. How can you claim to be a conservative and like him? Oh, his admiration, again, allegedly, let's just say, his admiration for the mustache man. I can sit there and say, in what way do you admire this guy? He was a socialist. Like, politically, he was a socialist. Like, you can have the conversation about juice all you want. But politically, this guy was a socialist. That guy was a communist. How do you admire these people and claim to be a conservative? And then I would try to have a conversation on those grounds. Now, I would say this. There's a generational divide here that's a bit strange. Look, I get that Oz Guinness, is probably not sitting there running a YouTube show and doing all the stuff. But if Oz Guinness was 30 years old, he'd be absolutely dominating the landscape.
Yeah, but there'd be a lot of Oz Guinnesses. That's the problem. Or have the reach of an Oz Guinness that shouldn't. That's the society we're living in.
I agree. Yeah, but that's we got to do what we got to do. That's life.
22 people are listening to us right now. It's a shame. And honestly, I would even shame the people who are watching this right now. Seriously.
Don't watch it.
No, I would shame them and say, you probably haven't sent this video out, because we're here like as Christian brothers trying to like fight against some of these lies that are being thrown out in the name of our movement. And like, how many of you guys have reached out to somebody to say like, hey, these brothers are putting in their time to like fight back against some of this? I doubt many, and I'm just going to be honest with you. I doubt many out of the whatever measly 25 that are watching us. But the problem we have is, bro, we can't even define our own views as Christians right now when it comes to these political stuff, which is why I've been barking for 10 years. I was going to say 25 years. Why I've been barking for 10 years about, guys, politics is important. One time it's going to matter. So, like, for example, there's a war happening in Gaza, right? Did you guys know this? Or does politics not matter? There's a war happening in Gaza. People say it's a genocide. And then the other people say it's a righteous self-defense war for the chosen people of God. And both are conservatives, or both would fall in line at least under like a mid-tent conservative, which is maybe like not the widest tent, not the smallest, but a mid-tent conservative. It's either genocide, okay, or it's a self-defense war. It can't be like one or the, like, there can't be a middle ground between genocide and the self-defense war. It's got to be closer to one of them, okay? And us as Christians, like me and you are sitting here, and we're like, yeah, Nick Fuentes is terrible. Like, he's saying crazy stuff, and his main shtick is Israel, right? But then this is the guy that's like, dude, this is a genocide. Right, which is what a lot of Christians are coming to view. And then you can look at a guy like Ben Shapiro or someone like that, who is way more mature in the way he compartmentalizes these kind of things and talks about these subjects and nuances things. But then he believes like fully this is like a just war by Israel.
Yeah, the thing is,
so my point is,
maybe Ben Shapiro would not be the person that we should be listening to on this issue, considering, right, he probably has a soft spot for Israel. Let's just say.
Yes, but I'm saying, how are you defining? We're trying to define conservatism so then we could talk about who should be who in, who should be out. There are honest people, brother, who believe this is a genocide or not a genocide.
I understand that, but like there's an absolute.
So what's our view on Israel as conservatives? That's a pretty major thing. If one part of our, if half of our party, let's say, half of our tent says the Jews are running the world, okay, and it's an evil anti-God scheme, okay, that we should have like a response to, are the Jews running the world and are we like against them, or are the Jews not running the world and you guys are like crazy? Like we don't have it right now. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, when you say we, you mean like
I mean conservatism in general. Forget Ben Shapiro; he's too involved because he's a Jew, right? But there are true conservatives that are like genuine Christians, believers, and not crazy like this, that are taking completely different approaches to this, and they're fighting. They believe in everything. 99% they're fighting. But this issue is calling to say, how dare you call this a genocide? These people are, like God's people, and then you have these guys saying you're psychotic if you believe these are God's people. Like it's the biggest lie ever sold to Christianity. But this is a major issue in conservatism.
Yeah, the issue is that a lot of those people don't know how to think theologically well. And so they're having a theological conversation on political grounds, and they don't know how to like sift through the material sitting in front of you, which is the Bible, to know, what's God's people, what's not. How does your view of end times impact your view of that? Is there a continuation for Israel? Is there not? Is replacement theology a thing that should be taken seriously? Should it not? Like, there's so many things that come up to the surface in this conversation, Tom, and I think sometimes you're trying to kind of ignore the gigantic nature of the conversation so we can get an answer out there, and we can't. And I get the world we live in, and that like it's the quicker you get out there and the louder you are and the more obnoxious or X, Y, and Z, and now you have a gigantic audience to speak to, and then all these people are listening to you. Maybe this is going to lead to like the destruction of all things. I don't know. Maybe it's going to lead to the destruction of the conservative party. Maybe it's going to lead to the rise of like a new neo-Nazi arm of conservatism. Those things are completely
run by a quarter Mexican dude.
It's hilarious, right? But like those things are what's the word I'm trying to use here? They're not beyond the realm of possibility. Let me put it that way. Because I wonder what it would have been like. And I'm not saying this to like fearmonger, okay? I just like realistically thinking. Okay, let's take the two individuals we've mentioned here. Both of them had mustaches at different lengths. Okay? Now, Nick Fuentes has a mustache. Not trying to say something, but, I'm not kind of saying something.
Okay.
But I'm not trying to say something.
Yeah.
You get it. And
I know.
This is the sort of arguments they actually bring up, by the way.
Yeah.
Like watching Candace Owens, that's the sort of arguments I hear, right? Someone had a mustache.
Well, I mean, Candace Owens is now accusing saying like she was revealed to in a dream that like what happened to Charlie Kirk. Oh. So now this is like, it's insane, man.
But short mustache, long mustache, someone who also has a mustache, they must be connected, right? So the short mustache man was an unknown individual. If you're talking, let's say Germany 1920s or something like that. He's a nobody. Failed artist, former military guy. Next thing you know, in a matter of 10 years, this guy becomes the dominant individual.
By the way, poor guy wasn't that short. I'll tell you
that
that much. He gets a bad rep for his height.
Who said he's short? Did I say you're short?
No. The short mustache guy.
Did I say he was short mustache?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No, man, I'm saying his mustache is short.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying he gets a bad rep for being short, too.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I didn't say he was short. It's short mustache versus long mustache, right? Now, the other guy is not Russian.
Yeah.
Unknown individual in Russia. The guy's Georgian. He's a thug. He's a thief. Okay? Womanizer, by the way, ended up sleeping with an underage kid. And they try to forcibly marry them in this village where he was hiding out. And then ran away somehow and stuff like that. Absolute. This is the longer mustache guy, right? Nobody used as a thug in his political party so they can get money. He would rob trains. Okay. Civil war happens in Russia. He gets kind of up there, still not respected at all. Nobody likes this guy. They like other people. He's a useful tool to accomplish things that other people are unwilling to do, predominantly violent things. Lenin dies. Somehow this guy ends up becoming, I'm not going to get into the conspiratorial aspects of how he might have gotten into that position or whatever like that. But let's just say Lenin dies. Stalin ends up taking over the party in Russia and runs it. Unknown individuals at a certain point in their lives. Nobody's really considering these guys for leading the nation, all these things. Yeah. And we could be sitting here and talking about people and unknown people, folks listening to people like Nick Fuentes, and then next thing you know, these guys are in a political, and we kind of look back and we go, what happened? How do we end up here? Well, because we allowed these individuals to run their mouths. Well,
that's the thing. You're so, and I'm being honest. I haven't cussed for a very long time. Sometimes I'll say SHIT, but I seriously just want to get into one of those rooms and cuss up a storm. Because no, seriously, I'm not even kidding. I just want to get into a room, close it out, and just cuss for 2 hours. And the reason is because these things don't just happen. Right? You don't just get up one morning and then there's a Nick Fuentes and a Tucker Carlson and a Ben Shapiro. It just doesn't have these things. They go through process. There's things that there was cancel culture. There's things that bring these about. And so cowardly Christians on the right, and Christians, I'm not talking about conservatives. I'm talking about Bible believing Christians. Cowardly Christians will sit on the sidelines, okay, as these issues are happening, and then they'll engage only when it's rawr, like now I can be a dog and like bite everyone. It's like, but no, dude, you were a coward, because you know what happened? Candace Owens was always like on this road. Nick Fuentes was always there. Alex Jones, I was listening to in 2013 or 2013, 14, when I got hired at my first company. I had Alex Jones on, and I was telling my boss, did you know the towers are like, this has been around, and so they were, dude, it's not kooky. What Alex Jones was saying, a lot of it might have been kooky, but an impressionable 20-year-old was sitting there and listening to it and then asking questions about it. Why do we support Israel? Like crazy support Israel. Is there a reason behind it? Can you tell me something other than, sorry if I'm screaming, can you tell me something other than, oh, it's because like Abraham, like Moses was chosen? Like, can you give me better answers for Israel? And by the way, I'm not anti-Israel at all. I'm actually the opposite of that, and I'll tell you that later. But the other side was like, Jews do everything, Jews control everything, Jews, and there's no real responses to these issues. But now, where you have like when somebody finally gains they have that fame and popularity, now you're going to be that Christian that looks like, I can't believe someone like Nick Fuentes is rising. I can't believe someone like Tucker Carlson, or even like the opposite end. How is someone like who's the gay dude that's a conservative? Dave Rubin. How is Dave Rubin in the conservative movement? Well, billion reasons. But now I have to sit back and try to explain to you all the reasons because you weren't paying attention. You're being a little good Christian boy and good Christian girl and not caring about all the crazy political stuff that happened in the world, right? So that's just my
I think I've been politically engaged pretty decently throughout my life. I mean, there's been periods where I was like, I know when like McCain was running and I was in Bible college, I was like, man, I don't know, like I have some issues with the ethics of it. Same thing with Romney. I had a number of issues just because I was trying to figure out my political kind of worldview, right? And so it's fair, I think, when you're younger to be like, well, should I vote? Should I not? What does that look like? Who would I vote for? How strongly? If somebody's against this, like, what does that look like? And then there's the nuances that you probably figure out as you get older. So I say this because I do think I completely agree with you. I think we should be aware of these people. We should be warning people. Like this stuff comes out in church. It comes out in discipleship, like having conversations with folks we know. People in your church, let me say this, Christian, people in your church are listening to Nick Fuentes. They're listening to Nick Fuentes, who's in support of short mustache men and long mustache men. The stuff he says about women is just ridiculous. The stuff he says about Jewish people is out of this world insane. The guy wants to take over the country. And I mean, this is one of the things that Ben Shapiro played is he said, when we take over, these people who are in the higher places of government who are worshiping Satan and stuff like that, and he predominantly is talking about Jewish people. He goes, they should be immediately executed. And then you kind of ignored them, but they're getting in the background, they're getting popularity, right? And then they end up getting into political places, people like this, and they end up committing mass killings of people, and you go, oh, how did we allow this to happen? How did this happen? How did this happen? Well, because you were sleeping.
How did a bunch of Germans like support whatever? But it wasn't random. It wasn't all of a sudden, let's cast the Jews, everyone's there. Like these things are they're implanted, or maybe the Jews implant them, whatever. Yeah. These things happen in society. And so, yeah, dude, you're right. It doesn't come out of nowhere. And I know you're engaged, but I'm telling you, a lot of people engage. And to answer Arnold's question, brother, I completely respect that. Someone I loved so much, John MacArthur, wasn't that engaged until he had to be. He was consistent with the COVID stuff. But then it's like, okay, if you don't believe we should be engaged, then shut your mouth.
I agree.
Be in the church, shut your mouth, do whatever you got to do. I respect that. That's your view. But then it's like, first of all, I think people who view politics like that, and I think John MacArthur was wrong. I think they leave a lot of us, alone on the battlefield. I think that's true because good Christian voices are important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree with
you. You're leaving your brother in the battlefield, but so be it. If you want to be like that, that's your theological view. I can't hate that. That's just the way you think. But it's like then don't point at me. Don't point at me. Okay. It's like, okay, let me call out John MacArthur a little bit here. I love him.
He's passed away.
Okay, he's passed away. But John MacArthur was very pro-Jewish and like dispensationalist, right? I didn't want to say the word. But now you can't call me out for like being politically engaged and saying Christians shouldn't be politically engaged, because I could look back and say there's a lot of reasons that Christians shouldn't be dispensationalists.
That's right.
So like it's easy then for me to use theology to say, no, I think your theology is actually off. So my point is, if you believe in that kind of stuff, okay, stay in the church, whatever, do what you have to do. But just know that eventually these little seeds that are planted like will grow, and sometimes the thorns that are planted within will grow on your side of the lawn, right? So a lot of times we see it growing on the other side, like liberals are this, liberals, and then sometimes they'll grow on your side of the lawn. What people like this, or even more crazier people, right? And then if you don't have gardeners who can control how it's growing, then it's gonna reap into like chaos. And I'm scared that that's what will happen. I don't think we're there now, but I'm scared as these fractions of conservatism keep hitting each other. Like, dude, can you believe this, Arthur? We might lose in 2028 to some psychotic leftist nut job that probably we all hate everything they stand for, but we might lose because we can't resolve just like issue, like we can't resolve to say, hey, maybe Nick Fuentes, like a racist guy that doesn't think I'm an American because I'm not born here, shouldn't be the voice of it. I believe in everything conservative. Like doofus young man that's watching Nick Fuentes, a 25% Mexican who claims to be a white nationalist, right? I believe in way more conservative values than that man does. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I love my country way more than that guy does, because that guy's just trying to like take it from the roots and pull it out and give the left their job. Amen. But then that guy has the voice because you're giving it to him.
Yeah, so stop listening to stupid people. Like, and I've been saying this, bro. I've said this, Tom. I've said this from the beginning. Okay, people can go back and look at streams I've done alone with you. I've said this, and I mean this in regards to the political end. I mean this in regards to the theological end. Stop listening to stupid people. There's people, somebody, I read a comment the other day. It was underneath a certain video that was put up. Somebody left a comment saying, this is why podcasting equipment should be really, really expensive.
Yeah, seriously.
And as someone who does this, like I try to stay in my lane in regards to what I know and things that I can actually comment on that is of value to people. The issue is not everybody actually does that or knows how to do that, where they'll just like respond to stuff. They shouldn't. But the issue here is it's not necessarily the people making these things, right? It's us as a consumer base giving them the clicks, the likes, the shares, the views, and they're just getting it. Stop. Just don't listen to them. Tell your friends, don't listen to them. Now, somebody might say, "Oh, this is like cancel culture and stuff like that." No, let them get out there and say whatever they want to say. But you don't have to listen to them. If I listen to someone for 15, 20 minutes. Usually, if you can listen to someone for 15, 20 minutes and know whether they're an intelligent person making sense or they're just spewing nonsense, okay? If you've learned how to think well, you can tell the difference there. And I can listen to someone for like 20 minutes and be like, you know what? Maybe, okay, I'll give them a second shot and I'll listen to them again or something like that. Or sometimes I'm just like never listening to this individual again. Yeah. They don't know what the heck they're talking about. It's pointless.
Yeah, I mean, and we're all guilty of it to some extent. I know I am, because sometimes these people, because they're crazy, right? Sometimes we'll say something, and you're crazies. They're crazies on your side. Sometimes they'll say something you really believe in, and they'll say it in the way more passionate. They'll say what you want to say in that private room that's enclosed and you can scream, but they'll say it in public, and you're just like, heck yeah, on this thing, heck yeah, like say it, give it to them. Yeah. But then I get you're right, because then it leads to this. Like the more clicks, then it leads to this. Where now we're fighting like a guy who just like sits on his stream and says the N-word. We're fighting whether this guy could be the legitimate leader of like it's not manly to do that, right? Am I wrong? It's not like manly to be able to go on your stream and just say the N-word.
Yeah.
Why do I feel gay for having this position? Seriously. Like, why do I feel like, oh no, you shouldn't go on your scream and just scream the N-word or say RAPE women and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wow, am I gay for like thinking these views? Am I like so like, what has happened to me? It's like, no, but that's not like, it's because it's been misconstrued. Like what we believe in, what we consider manly and godly and Christian has been hijacked by these kinds of people like Andrew Tate and these people. And so now when you try to take actual godly positions, like what our pastor was talking about, be humble yesterday, it's like you feel really stupid. You're like, oh, I'm going to be humble about this situation.
But here's the thing, right? Like with any one of those guys, this is a good way to approach this, by the way. Look, I think the manliest man to ever live is Jesus Christ. Period. And I just want to replicate his person. Does Nick Fuentes think Jesus would get up and say the stuff he says? If he doesn't, then he should shut his mouth. Especially because he claims to be a Christian. I mean, I don't.
Maybe he does. Honestly, maybe he does. Who knows?
Maybe what he thinks that Jesus would talk.
Maybe he thinks Jesus would get on a stream and say the N-word. I don't know. Like, maybe we're wrong, honestly. Maybe this is the...
I was watching... I saw a little clip of someone asking a question. It was a Fuentes fan asking a question to Charlie Kirk about, like, hey, why aren't we in support of people like Fuentes and something like that? And then Charlie said, because I can't tolerate Jew haters. And then it went back and forth. Oh, man, what did the guy say? This is so good. I've lost my thought.
Yeah, it was a guy asking Charlie a question about why can't we support a guy like Nick Fuentes.
Yeah, but specifically I was trying to make a point. I lost my thought. Sorry. It'll come.
See, the scary stuff, the scary part about being stupid, guys, is the ramifications are very large. Like right now, consider this, right? So conservatives are taking a very anti-Israel position. Right? Israel is this, Israel is that. They control the world. They're the enemy. My neighbors, my trash guy is Israel. The guy looking at my text somewhere is Israel. The helicopter flying over my house is Israel. I'm serious, man. And so what happens is you unintentionally align yourself with the worst people in the world. And I'm not talking about like Nazis. I'm talking about like Zoran Mamdani. Like you start aligning yourself with the left and you're not even noticing because you're being so stupid in the way you look at these stuff and you actually, like you said, define this stuff where it's like Christians don't realize that by being so anti-Israel without actually having facts or being real about the situation is that you're actually starting to align yourself completely with like the pro-Islamic left.
And this is what I'm saying, where it goes full circle. Yeah, it goes full circle. But that's what I'm saying. Like, look, this is the point I was making. Who is closer to individuals like Stalin? Okay, think about this. Who's closer? I'm going to throw a couple of names out there. Donald Trump, who gets accused of being a Nazi for some reason all the time. Donald Trump, Nick Fuentes, Zoran Mamdani. Which one of those three people is closer to Stalin's worldview? Well, one is obvious.
Yeah.
Okay. Our guy Zoran. He's Iranian, right?
No, he's like Ugandanese, whatever they call it.
Go away. I don't think he is. Look it up.
I think he's Ugandan, bro.
Look it up. Okay. The other one is Nick Fuentes. So Nick Fuentes and Zoran Mamdani are on the same side when it comes to their communist thinking and their admiration for people like Stalin.
Yeah, Kampala, Uganda.
He's from Uganda. What's his ethnicity?
Is Ugandan an ethnicity? I just made that up.
No, it's just Ugandan.
Oh. Zoran Mamdani's personal life. My favorite section on Wikipedia. By the way, now there's Grokpedia.
Yeah, I know.
He was given the middle name Kwame, Ugandan Muslim, Bombay. His father's family was part of the Indian diaspora.
Oh, he's Indian.
Southeast Africa. His maternal grandmother was a social worker. I don't know. Like, why does that matter?
Yeah, I think he's. I think he's ethnically Indian. Maybe.
I don't know what he is, but regardless,
no, he is
he's a
because he
psychopath.
spoke. Yeah, whatever. So what I'm saying is, like, you get these people who are like far right, what's considered far right. they're actually socialists.
100%.
And that's the way. That's a historically accurate way of viewing far right people.
Which is why we can't figure out if Hitler was a leftist or right winger.
That's because in American politics we use left and right differently than historically.
Yeah, but you can't figure, even historically, you can't figure out if Hitler was a left-wing socialist supporter or like a fascist. Those are completely different definitions. But people say a Hitlerian fascist.
It's the National Socialist.
I know, but
party.
People say Hitlerian fascist or you're fascists, you're Nazis. Like they align those two together, right? So it's all been sort of like jumbled up together.
Yeah, I'm just saying the guy's party is called the National Socialist Party. Yeah. So anybody who says I'm a socialist is closer to him than anybody who's against socialism.
But then they call right-wingers like fascists.
That's just
Nazis.
dumb. That's just dumb.
Precisely dumb, yes.
Right? Okay, so with all that said, do we want to jump into this? Dude, we've been going back and forth. You and I have been raising our voice for an hour. Do we want to jump into this Ben Shapiro video? Do you want to give me some timestamps on this?
I mean, look, we could.
There is cussing if we play this, by the way. So if you got your kids around,
yeah, we could. But you know what I fear here, and I'm gonna be real. I fear that when you play this, people go like, oh, you can't believe you're quoting Ben Shapiro here, blah blah blah. Ben Shapiro's, and I know Ben Shapiro's been wrong on issues, right? Ben Shapiro's been wrong on the vaccinations. I think he was completely wrong on it. Ben Shapiro didn't want us to support Trump. Ben Shapiro would be the guy supporting like Mitt Romney or like I think he was Ted Cruz to be fair. But guys, it's jumbled. It's a mess. Right, so like the whole conservative movement right now, it's like when you're sitting on top, when you're a fat cow, right? Like you're kind of like done it. You've won. You're kind of dominating the cultural war. What happens? There's complacency. It becomes like, okay, like what can we do now? And then there's these like internal wars that start. Anyways, whatever I was saying.
Yeah, look, you're right, but it doesn't matter to me.
My point is, I don't want to look like a Ben Shapiro right winger that's like just sitting there like an old dinosaur that's like Nick Fuentes and the young people. Or I don't want to be that guy. Yeah. I'm not that guy. I still have a line on the side of my head. I'm not that guy, and I'm probably definitely more masculine than Nick Fuentes is. Right, like
100%,
brother.
You got a thicker voice than he does. Not saying anything, I'm just saying something. I'm just saying people who have thicker voices, that's good because, they're developmentally.
It's just you don't know brother. You don't know the Bible.
That's right.
You don't give a crap about Scripture. You've probably, I think he read it. I think Ben says this. He read the Bible for the first time in the last 2 years or something. Apparently, like you don't know anything about what a godly community looks like. What having brothers in the faith. What debating important issues. Weeping with someone who's like. You just sit there like just this cringe thing like Christian nationalism. Let's take over the world. You don't know what Christian nationalism is. You don't know what a Christian is. You don't know the battles Christians face. Yeah. You probably don't know the history of Christianity. You just you're a meme that wants to see this glorious cross risen up, but face to face you probably call the police because somebody took your parking spot. Dude, let's be real.
Yeah, look, I think you're right. These guys don't know these things. Look, here's a telling thing about people. I had a very disgusting vocabulary before I was a Christian. I would cuss a lot. Never cussed in front of my parents because if I did that, I'd get slapped across the face when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. But very disgusting mouth, cussed a lot. And when I became a believer, one of the first things that changed in my life was I stopped cussing. And that sort of just happened. I didn't go, oh, I'm struggling with this, and I prayed for it or stuff. No, I became a Christian, and it got cleaned up really quickly. And I say that because when I look at people who are just constantly cussing, to me, they are not aware that there's an internal spiritual thing that should be happening for somebody who's an actual Christian, where no, you use your mouth to bless God. And you use your words to bless your brothers and sisters. You should not be using that to curse.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a straight up teaching from the Bible. And you don't need to necessarily be a very mature Christian to be confronted with that. All you need to do is read the letter of James or listen to some Christians talking about, hey, honor the Lord with the way you speak. Because even if you just know the idea that every single one of us will stand before God and give an account for everything we've done and everything we've said, every word that's come out of our mouth and every deed, right? Word and deed. And you would go like, that would put some healthy fear in your heart to say, dude, I got to be very careful with the way I speak. I have to be very careful with what I say about people and to people, because God's going to hold me accountable to these things.
Yeah.
And so that should change you. So when I personally, this is Arthur, when I personally see individuals and they're just like cussing us up and they claim to be Christians, I'm immediately skeptical. I'm immediately skeptical of two things. One, their Christianity. Two, their maturity. So if I were to grant their Christianity, then I would be questioning their maturity as Christian people, which means they shouldn't be talking about Christian things. Yeah. They might be saved, but they shouldn't necessarily be going in the direction where they're talking about Christian things, trying to explain Christian theology, trying to explain eschatology, trying to explain the nuances between things like God's, God revealing in His Word and talking about the fullness of the Gentiles have to be fulfilled in order for the Jews to be grafted back in. Like these sorts of things that theologians think about and wrestle through and try to establish a timeline of saying, has this happened? Will it happen? What's our view of Israel? Were they God's chosen people? What does it mean for Christians to be God's chosen people? Does that mean they're just completely like ignored, or does God still have a purpose for them? Right? Like these are serious theological conversations that serious people have. Yeah. Not the guy who thought about it for 5 seconds and comes out and talks about, no, man, like they're useless. Oh, by the way, they're evil. They did this. They killed Jesus. Did you know they killed Jesus? Like I saw in our community, there's a Armenian some podcasters. I've been on their podcast actually. They recently had this guy on who's a pastor, who's a fundamentalist Baptist, who's a King James only. I've seen some of his reels and stuff like that. And they've released 2-3, I think, reels of this guy. Every single one of them is trashing the Jews. And I'm like, I know those guys that run that podcast. Bro, they know very little about theology. Very, very little. And now you have this guy who sort of supposedly knows his stuff, but he's talking about like, oh, the Jews killed Jesus. They said, let his blood be on us and our heads and stuff like that. And like, okay, and then what? Like you just cut it there? And then what? Like, what's the person thinking who's watching this? I'm going to be justified now in my hate of the Jews. Where Paul says, I would rather go to hell. Yeah. Listen to what Paul says. He says, I would go to hell for my brothers to be saved. He's talking about unbelieving Jews. That's how much he loves them. Now, that's his ethnic group. Now, my challenge would be, if you want to think about this contextually, whatever your ethnic group is, would you go to hell so they would be saved? Because that's Paul's... Now, that's his passion for his people. You have to realize that. Do you have that kind of passion for your own ethnic group, that they would come to know the Lord? Dude, that's intense. And so they'll quote these things out of context and then like throw it out there, and people go there, oh, I knew it, I knew the Bible supports. No, the Bible doesn't support you. Yeah. The Bible doesn't support your ideas. You don't know anything when it comes to the Bible. You've never read it. You've never spent more than 15 minutes studying it.
Dude, if you think Jesus would be, Arthur knows me, I'm a very aggressive conservative. I'm a Christian nationalist, believe it or not.
Not the
not that, but I would consider myself a Christian nationalist, defining it in the way I define it, right? But like, if you think you're like macho for like putting a banner of Jesus on your back and then saying something like, if black people are not drinking from the same water fountain as white people, who cares about that? If you think Jesus would be like indifferent to something like that, you're psychopath. You clearly don't know the heart of Jesus. You clearly don't know Jesus speaking to the Samaritan woman at the well. Like, you have no idea what you're talking about. So like it's always easy, right? Like, Arthur, it's easy to pump people up if you just have a little bit of charisma, right? You can get there and be like, Christianity is being attacked. True. There's people trying to put Christians down and mock us. true. There's the Islamization and anti-Christian hatred in the world. It's true. And also people don't, who cares if black people don't drink from our same water fountains?
Yeah.
False. Okay? False. It's false. Now, a true Christian would be able to align all those things with what Jesus believes.
That's right.
Yes, Christianity is under attack. Yes, it's messed up. Yes, secularism. Yes, racism is wrong, and people should be able to drink from nobody should, by the way, nobody should drink from water fountains. That's just my opinion. But yes,
except if you're in Armenia.
No, black people should not go to different schools because the government's forcing them. If they want to, they can, but not because they go. No, like we can understand the heart of Jesus and still be pretty staunch in our defense of Christianity or in the defense of our conservative ideals.
And we don't necessarily need those guys to defend it. That's what I'm saying. They're not good defenders of it. They're horrible. They give it a horrible image.
By the way, Nick Fuentes, just last week I was watching, okay? Guilty as charged. Just last week he said something to
Let's just say you were doing research.
He said something like to the extent of, not to the extent, verbatim, quote me on this. He said, Jesus the person was the way, the truth, and the life. Not the Bible. Jesus the person was that way.
Yeah.
Dummy, who told you that? Maybe the Bible? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone's sitting there kind of like, heck yeah, it was Jesus the person. That's my God. Jesus, not a bunch of just like books put together that says Jesus said that I am the way, the truth, and the life. Just the person is. It's like you're not thinking properly. So I don't want to get behind that guy. Oh yeah, is the Bible in itself greater than Jesus then? No, nobody's saying that. But you found those words that what Jesus claimed to be was found in this beautiful, divine, unbelievable.
Yeah, and by the way, those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, they're not.
Like Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and the Bible is the Word of God. It's not like listen. God inspired His Word. God breathed it out, and it's useful for teaching and rebuking and correcting and so on and so forth. That's in the text. You have to keep that balance. Now, if you start worshiping the Bible, yeah, I think there's a good challenge that come there and say, hey, maybe you've replaced your love for God with your love for the Bible. But it's not like, oh, now stop loving the Bible and then love God. No, it's properly align them.
Yeah.
Right? Love God above everything. Love His revelation to you. Right? And so this is very important. But again, it's the nuanced thinking that comes in there. It's people being rational about it and saying, wait, hang on, what is this guy talking about? The only information you have about Jesus, all this stuff you're saying is found in the Word of God. Yeah. You can't discredit the Word of God.
Yeah.
And use stuff that's from the Word of God. I mean, that's the Islamic dilemma, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Except in this case, against someone like Nick Fuentes.
And then try to pump up society to like follow that teaching. Like, where do you get your teachings from? Which is, by the way, it's another story, but which is why I have a lot of issues with Catholic Church. By the way, this kind of rise in this psychopath Christianity is mainly coming from Catholics. I'm just saying. I'm not like you can like it is coming from
not
like
saying,
Nick,
but you know,
like Nick Fuentes is a Catholic.
Like, okay, so why is it and challenge to Catholics? I wish that like Catholic priests would come out and be like, hey, Candace Owens is excommunicated. Saying nonsense. Nick Fuentes is excommunicated because these things don't align themselves with actual proper, even if you were to say proper Catholic teaching, I'd say the same thing. And I've been saying the same thing. Why has the Catholic Church not excommunicated Joe Biden? Someone explain that to me.
They're more concerned about like the Earth's health or whatever.
Well, the Pope is too busy about that.
Well, by the way, the Pope is too busy to comment on these situations or the Christians dying in Nigeria. He's currently placing his hand on a rock and praying that the water.
Do that. I don't care. Do it. I personally do not care. But it's not. It's not one or the other.
No. By the way, it's not a knock to Catholics. There's a lot of non-Catholics that are just as crazy.
And we all understand that there's people who say they're Catholics who like haven't stepped foot in the Catholic Church. For like Nick Fuentes can get up there and say I'm Catholic, and all that means is when he was like 2, he got baptized, and that's it. Like nothing else has happened. He's never been back.
Yeah, no. The thing about someone like Nick Fuentes, and it sucks that like I wish Nick Fuentes would change some of his views and come to the correct side of Christianity and conservatism.
Yeah.
Like I wish it's not that difficult, brother. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
But
We just want people to repent.
It's the fact that this guy can articulate himself well, and this is just being truthful. Like he can say something like, why is it that as Christians, as people who believe in Jesus Christ as God and Savior, how is it that we're such coward when it comes to selling out to Israel, who, by the way, in the Talmud say that Jesus is like burning in semen right now.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there like, holy crap, he's right.
Yeah.
But he's not, because the other views are like black people this, N-word this, pro Nazi this, pro Hitler this. So it's like, dude, just have the just have the wisdom to say that, hey, you know what? Maybe my brother Arthur, by the way, maybe my brother Arthur thinks the same things, thinks we shouldn't sell out our Christianity for things. And maybe he doesn't get there and scream it and say it while using the N-word, but he believes the same thing. And oh, by the way, he also believes in what the Bible says and what Jesus taught in all the other aspects of life. And maybe I don't have to be like following this guy to start a revolution. I can be following the Bible, true Christians that are actually out there trying to wrestle with these
Here's
things.
the issue, and maybe we're having a similar issue that I've always been a little heavy-handed with the first and great awakenings in the United States. And it's not just me, other folks have as well, scholars predominantly, saying things like one of the issues was people would become Christians and they wouldn't go through proper discipleship and education within Christianity and Christian doctrine and stuff, and then end up starting churches or, going and starting cults and stuff like that. And maybe one of the issues that we're seeing with a lot of people becoming Christians during our times is that they become Christians and then they gravitate towards, because they might already have, right, things that are off about them and their beliefs, and they become Christians and they go, oh man, like look at this guy, he's a Christian and he's saying a bunch of the stuff that I agree with already, so I'm going to gravitate towards that. And the person hasn't spent 40 minutes collectively over the past year in the Word of God.
Yeah.
And is now consuming large amounts of whatever it is, entertainment, commentary, whatever it may be, of individuals like that. And then they get formed and shaped into a certain way, thinking that they have Christianity down. No, that individual doesn't have Christianity down.
Yeah. You
got to stop. You got to go to a church. You got to get discipled. You got to listen to people who have good, solid theology about them. Here's one of the things, I was actually thinking about this, Tom. I was listening to this one of these reels that I was talking about that came up. And I was like, okay, if I were sitting there and that question was asked to me, how would I respond? And I said, well, it definitely wouldn't be the way this person made it seem. The way I would respond about it would be something like, and it had to do with end times. And I could, because the question was against the view that I'm against. So I could be like, yeah, those people who believe that, bro, oh, they've bought into all this and that's not in the Bible and X, Y, and Z, that goes in that. But rather than that, I would probably say something like, that's one of the 4 views that's held, and like explain it so that the audience actually gets good value out of it. Instead of going around and saying, oh, 2 things, right? Or Arthur's against everything I've been taught in regards to my Christianity, or I knew it was some kind of a Jewish propaganda or something like that, and then now they use you to back up their views. Like, I'm against dispensationalism. I've said that before. My end times view used to lean that way, never really got into full dispensationalism, but it was a premillennialist kind of futurist theology. And I don't think it's true. I don't think it's in the Bible and stuff like that. But the reasons why I'm against it has nothing to do with what these people are talking about. It has to do with proper hermeneutics, in my opinion. It has to do with what it meant to the original audience, how they would have understood it, how they would have applied it, and all those proper questions we should be asking. Not reading, by the way, these people are reading back into the text. They're doing eisegesis. They already have some worked up issues in regards to, let's just say, Jews or Israel or something like that. And then they see a view that is in support of that. And then they take those things that's already built up in there, they read it into the text and they dismiss them. And so they don't have a honest view of Scripture. An honest view of Scripture would be coming to promises God made to Abraham that he's going to bless his offspring and that in various ways, and saying, is this promise of God still the case? Or did it stop at one point? That's a good theological question. Was this a conditional promise or was it an unconditional promise? And now you're doing proper theology. If it was an unconditional promise, that means the promise still stands. So now you got to work your theology into that. If it's a conditional promise, like I think all the promises and all the stuff that comes with Moses at Sinai, they're conditional. If you do this, then this will happen. If you don't do this, then it won't happen. But I do think some of the stuff with Abraham is unconditional because there's no conditions given, And so, like, we have to wrestle with those things, and these guys don't, and they do a disservice. And then people listen to them, specifically Christian men, probably I would say, and they think that they've been somehow enlightened or informed about things that they really haven't been.
Yeah.
Because the individual sitting in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, if their intent is not your good, if their intent, and this is what it means to love people, by the way, is that you will someone's good. If their intent is not for you to become a more mature Christian, for you to become a better individual, a more mature individual, a loving husband, a loving wife, a loving child, then they don't have what's best in mind for you. They don't love you. They're self-serving. That's all they care about. You have to figure out the individuals that you are allowing, because at the end of the day, you are allowing them, including us sitting here, whether we have what's best in mind for you or we don't. And if somebody doesn't have what's best in mind for you, then you should probably not listen to them. Why would you? Why would you listen to someone who doesn't have what's best in mind for you and your family? And this, going back to this is a proper conservative idea that I'm sharing. Right? It's that I want you to know truth. Capital T. That's a conservative idea. I want to preserve that truth. I want to conserve that truth. And if somebody doesn't care, then they're going to be tossed to and fro, as the Bible says, by every wind of doctrine that comes their way. They're going to go this way and that way by everything that comes their way. Today, this is what's popular. Today, it's popular to hate on the Jews. Tomorrow, it's going to be popular to hate on the French. And you know what they're going to do tomorrow? Hate on the French. That's the way they go about these things. Their concern isn't the audience, man. And that bugs me in many, many ways. And that could be said about, again, be very careful as to judging motive, but I would say judge the fruit. Look and observe and see what they're saying. Is it leading you to have a more prosperous, a better existence? Is it leading you to be a better Christian individual? I'm talking to Christians predominantly here. Or is it not? Or is it leading you to be like hate-filled? That's not a fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah, and they're going to be in, people like this, not pointing anyone out specifically, but are going to be in for a rude awakening when they stand before their Savior and know that, you can't just blab whatever you want and lead people astray. There's going to be consequences for that stuff. You know what I mean? When you stand before your God and you actually see who his character is and who he truly is and what he holds to account in your life, it's going to be, and I hope it's not too late, but it might very well be too late at that point, where you can't just say stuff, dude. It has real life implications. You can't just take who Jesus was and create a caricature of him and then go like, this is Jesus and this is what we're gonna do, and then like expect to one day, if you really believe it, maybe they don't really believe it. If you really believe that you're gonna meet your Savior one day, and expect he won't hold you accountable. Like, I think about these things. I think about a lot of these, for example, Nigerian Christians or Sudanese who sort of, and I'm not using this word in a negative connotation, guys, who cower and die in those moments because it's like there's nothing you could do. You can't stand up and fight, punch back, and do something, save your family. So I'm not using that cower word in a negative sense, but there's nothing else they can do. And they just sit there. They've lived the word of God. They weren't able to get behind some kind of revolution and they die. Yeah. You know, for their faith in Jesus. They're shot in the head. There was this video of this woman clutching her family while they're shooting the gun on the dirt just to scare them, and then they eventually end up killing them. Like, these are the people that are becoming martyrs for their faith in Jesus Christ, and they'll be received by Jesus immediately, and he'll say, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Come on, enter in. Let's dwell together forever." But then you create this weird character. It's like I'm thinking to myself, if I'm a Nigerian Christian looking at some of these guys who claim to be like the head honchos of Christianity, I think, this is disgusting. This is not what I'm dying for. Yeah. Oh, Nick Fuentes, maybe that Nigerian woman whose family just got shot and killed, maybe they should have been drinking from a different water fountain.
Yeah, disgusting.
Right? So it's like these kind of things. It's like when you think about it like that, and you think about who Jesus was, his character, you want to stay away from those people. You know, I stay away from the left. I think the left is horrendous. I think their ideologies, they view our children and family disgusting. I don't even like their fiscal policies, let alone their social ones. But that does not mean that just because somebody claims to be on my side or Christian has it completely down. And I think
I think that was the intent of like doing this stream today, is because quite often I'll talk to people and be like, well, you never kind of call out the crazies on your side and stuff like that. And here we are. Like, there's crazies on the side of the right. Now, I think when you dig deep into it, you realize that they're actually lefties. Yeah. They're actually, like, look at the stuff they're asking for, right? Like big government, controlling dictatorships, mass executions. Like, these aren't conservative ideals and values. This is partly why I thought it would be beneficial to go through the definitions earlier, Tom. Because I look at it and go, wait, this guy's asking for big government. I mean, that's not a conservative thing. I would say, I know in the chat some folks have mentioned Trump and stuff like that. I'd say the same thing, and I have said the same thing about Trump. If Trump comes out there and says like some kind of a big government sort of stuff, I've always been against executive orders. It's just like, it's so out of hand. And Biden signing executive orders en masse, Trump doing the same thing, I think is bad for American politics. But I also get the practicality of it, is that in order to reverse all this nonsense, you got to do your own, which like doubles it essentially. Yeah. Because you got to get rid of it and then you got to replace it. And I would rather be in a different kind of situation where we didn't just have them, plain and simple. But if Trump did stuff like that or does stuff like that, I'd call him out. But I'll also say things like this. I was thinking about this. Trump's comment about the Nigerian Christians and the Nigerian government specifically. Mike Winger's done good stuff on the issue of the Christians in Nigeria who are getting zero attention. And this is the hypocrisy I've called out on in regards to the media covering, for example, the Israel Gaza situation, whether left or right? Like the left media has been predominantly covering like, oh, look at all this horrendous things happening in Gaza. The right media is like, look at all the hostages and their families, and all focuses on Israel, where everybody's just forgotten about these Nigerian Christians. And it's like, you guys are hypocrites. You guys are absolute hypocrites. For some reason, and I think I know what the reason is, and the reason is because you guys are, it's very sad because both of them are using the misfortune of those individuals, whether Israelis or Palestinians, to fight each other in America. That's what's really happening. Like, why is it when I look at my liberal friends, they're only talking about all the like stuff happening to the Palestinians in Gaza, and then like never will mention about the Christians dying. And then Trump comes out and says, hey, listen, Nigerian government, get yourself in order, man. Like the Christians are dying, and comes up with a very, very like intense statement. And I read that and I was like, which president would have done this? Like in my lifetime? I don't know. I don't, Joe Biden would definitely not have done it. He would be like, Nigeria, what? The moon, man. Yeah. Like, he wouldn't know what's going on. I'm not sure whether Barack Obama would have done anything. Like, you would think that he would want to. Why would Barack Obama not have done much other than releasing some fluff? I mean, Trump's thing was, you got to get this in order or else we're going to come in there.
Come in guns ablazing.
Yeah, like, it's a threat. Why? How do I know that? This I know it. Barack Obama refused to give aid to African nations that were taking pro-life positions and anti-LGBTQ positions. Barack Obama did not send U.S. aid. He used U.S. aid to liberalize nations. Where Trump is saying, we're not going to send you aid because they're killing Christians in your country. I don't care what you think about Trump, by the way. But I'm just saying this is what Obama did. So I don't think he would have done much. He would probably release something like, oh, it's very sad that Christians are dying in Nigeria. He wouldn't have even said they're being killed. He would say they're dying. Somehow there's a random thing that's just killing all the Christians.
I want to see someone who's like very anti like interventionist to come out and say like, no, Trump shouldn't go save the Christians in Nigeria. Like, come on, exactly. Guys. Like, be consistent. It's not an American issue. Like, you see how you can't take. It's unwise to take hard stances on these kind of things. The world is more nuanced. If you say like America should never go anywhere else, we should only focus on America, right? Or if you say whatever, if you take those positions, then situations like this come up where you actually it's not only the thing you want done, but it's the right thing, it's the just thing for a government like America to go and save a bunch of Christians. But then if you're consistent to your like weird isolationist only views, then you say something like, "Oh no, we shouldn't go in there."
Yeah, that's just dumb because
let them die.
Ethically you will have a lot of issues. But you know, I'm not very sure whether George Bush would have done much about it.
No, George just would have just like gotten a shoe thrown at him right now.
No,
fool me once, shame on you.
Yeah, like
we should go through this video, by the way, a little bit at least.
Do you have any timestamps we want to look at them?
Yeah, I would say just start from the beginning, where Ben Shapiro starts talking about the issue, and in the first like 5-6 minutes.
Hey guys, I've sped up Ben Shapiro, which is like the most insane thing anybody can do. Because he talks so Ben Shapiro already talks at 1.5 the speed, but we've sped it up just a little bit to 1.25, so we can get through this a bit faster. So Ben, if you ever watch this and you want to hire me at the Daily Wire, what's his name, Pints with Aquinas, do you know that, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
He's they keep filling it up with Catholics. I'm just saying, man, get some Protestants in there, and Andrew Klavan's alone. So,
you know, if you play Ben Shapiro's videos backwards, he's actually quoting the Talmud in every video. Somehow all of it aligns. Like every video is the same Talmud.
It's because the Jews have the secret, man. They have the secret. Yeah.
I feel really bad.
I'm actually not very sure whether if the Daily Wire came and offered me a position there, whether I would take it.
I mean, at this point, you'd be destroyed by the right wing, because as it keeps going forward, like it's like Ben Shapiro, who by the way was like the right winger.
He's a moderate.
I know, but I'm saying at the time where he was that like right winger, where everyone was like, he's a Ben Shapiro guy. Like now he's like this like utopian weird like pro-Jewish figure in the eyes of these people, and it's like, dude, you guys don't understand that freaking Ben Shapiro holds values that are very close to what we do. Yeah. Like, he's wrong on the Israeli subject. He's not completely right on that. I totally agree with that. But anyways, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, folks, I want to do something different on today's show. We're going to cover one topic in depth. That topic is, I think, the most important thing happening in the country. It was a hot topic last week, but I wanted to take some time to really gather my thoughts and speak on it in coherent fashion, holistic fashion. That topic is the fragmentation of the...
If you have children near you, or if there's any children watching this, which you shouldn't be, but either turn it off or get the kids to a different room, because he's going to play a bunch of videos from Nick Fuentes where Nick Fuentes is just cussing. And they haven't censored it, and I can't censor it. It's impossible. Or else it'd just be like, beep. Okay? That's my warning, guys. So, sorry. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah, Thomas Massey, by the way, is a complete moron. By the way, the only people I can't stand more than leftists are libertarians. And Dave Smith, yeah, he's... whatever. Go.
Political right. That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes. They call themselves the Groypers. They are white supremacists. They hate women, Jews, Hindus, many types of Christians, brown people of a wide variety of backgrounds, blacks, America's foreign policy, and America's Constitution. They admire Hitler and Stalin. And that splinter faction is now being facilitated and normalized within the mainstream Republican Party. The main agent in that normalization is Tucker Carlson, who is an intellectual coward, a dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend. And Tucker Carlson last week
that was personal.
Yeah, the terrible friend.
Yeah, the terrible friend is like personal. Like, okay, Ben, like I get like intellectual coward and then terrible interlocutor, but like there's some issues that have happened between Tucker and Ben for him to say that. Like, just the best friend.
Big time.
Just saying.
Celebrated for normalizing Nazism within the Republican Party by the mainstay organization of the traditional right, the Heritage Foundation. Now, before we explain what's been happening, let's make one thing clear. This is not about free speech or cancellation. It was never about free speech or cancellation. Free speech has a definition, the right to speak free of governmental coercion. I believe in it, of course. I've always defended it. Criticism of bad speech is, in fact, just a form of free speech. Cancellation also has a definition, the banning of particular people, including people like Nick Fuentes, from platforms like X or Facebook. I believe that Nick Fuentes is odious and despicable, but I've never called for his cancellation, and in fact, I've called for his restoration to those services, despite the fact that I think he's odious and despicable. It is not cancellation to draw moral lines between viewpoints. In fact, we used to call that one of the key aspects of conservatism. It is not cancellation to refuse to signal boost Hitler supporters like Nick Fuentes. It is not cancellation to criticize Tucker Carlson for rhetorically fluffing Nick Fuentes and other anti-American crackpots. It's not cancellation if you urge others to stop promoting those who rhetorically fluff Nazi apologists. Those are all elements of free speech. And anyone who says differently is lying to you, and lying for the most cynical reasons, to misdirect from their own defense of those Nazi apologists and their promoters. The issue here isn't that Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show last week. He has every right to do that.
I think it's overboard. Like, this is why when you're listening to this kind of stuff, it's important to just like, because you're going, yeah, or no, or the opposite. Yeah. And then when it comes to the no, just be honest. No, not there.
Yeah.
And that's how you call these things out. So not everyone who's, not everyone who interviews someone that's crazy or whatever, their intention is not to like bring these things to light or say like they somehow believe in that stuff.
Yeah.
There are people who actually during conversations will kind of stay more low key, allow people to talk and not necessarily interject or disagree. Like I don't think Tucker Carlson, I get why he's hurt at in person, but I don't think Tucker Carlson is like really genuinely a bad actor in that sense, where he's like, heck yeah, I believe in everything Nick Fuentes does, and let's like.
Well, you can again. We don't know these people. These guys know each other.
Yeah.
So it could be, let's just say, where it's like, hey, you could have pushed back on him and you didn't, and why didn't you do it? And maybe Tucker could say, well, that wasn't my intent in that interview. It wasn't kind of to put him on the. I just wanted him to talk.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, but. So you got to be very careful when you come at it. Like the way people conduct interviews are very different. Like the way Joe Rogan conducts interviews is very, very different from other people. Like Joe Rogan shares his opinions a lot when he's conducting interviews. Some people don't share opinions at all when they're conducting interviews.
Yeah, that's right.
That, of course. The issue here is that Tucker Carlson decided to normalize and fluff Nick Fuentes, and that the Heritage Foundation then decided to robustly defend that performance. Those who criticize both Tucker and Heritage aren't canceling. They are quite properly drawing a moral line. So, for those who don't understand what's going on, let's begin with Nick Fuentes. Now,
so is that the Heritage
Carlson
Foundation was the same foundation that apparently started Project 2025, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Can you search the Heritage Foundation? Is that possible? I just want to look at who they are, because I know they're a Christian organization. They've been very popular over the years.
Oh yeah. They fund and support a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, but it surprises me that they would take that he's claiming they're taking an anti-Israeli position.
I think they did do Project 2025.
Yeah, see, that's Project 2025. So from what I understand, the Heritage Foundation would have a dispensational view on like Israel and stuff, which is super weird. If they're coming out for Tucker and against whatever Ben is saying, that would actually be like kind of surprising to me.
Do you know what he's referring to?
I think the Heritage Foundation defended Tucker probably by having him on, like not canceling his
It says the Heritage Foundation. So I just did this up. It says 3 hours ago or 2 days ago. The Heritage Foundation shakes up staff in wake of Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview. So
I'd be curious what happened.
Yeah,
there.
chat. Hey, chat,
if
help us out.
Anybody knows. Yeah. Anyways.
The Guardian's got an article on it.
Can you control F Heritage Foundation?
Hang on.
It's right there.
Tucker Carlson's interview with far-right anti-Semitic Nick Fuentes divides conservatives. Heritage Foundation defended former Fox News host. Others slammed it. But what was the defense, actually?
Yeah, I'd be curious. I'd be very curious how they defended.
Kevin Roberts, the head of the Conservative Heritage Foundation. Let me pull this up. So, waiting for my eCam to catch up to my
3 hours
button
later.
pressing. It's crazy. Hey, eCam, if you're watching, you guys need to like seriously fix this because it's annoying. Kevin Roberts, the head of the Conservative Heritage Foundation think tank, defended Carlson after the episode saying Carlson remains and, as I have said before, always will be close friends of the Heritage Foundation.
That's the defense. See what I mean by like
Yeah,
you
it's so
can't
weird,
just
yeah.
like.
The response from the prominent think tank on the right, the group behind Project 2025. Okay, thank you very much. Conservative Manifesto. Like, okay, we don't need to know about that, bro. Is this Nick Fuentes?
Yes.
He actually does look Mexican here.
Yeah. They should make one of those Mexican sombrero videos of him. The left sucks at memes. The left could do so much if they wanted to.
Yeah, I know, huh?
But they just go crazy. Like,
Yeah, I don't understand what the defense was.
I think that was the defense. That
Bro, that he said Tucker's his friend. Get a life. How do you guys write articles, man?
Yeah, that's very stupid, by the way. They asked him if he hated his friend,
bro,
and he said no.
This is clickbait. Like,
Yeah.
it really is.
Okay, let's keep going a little bit.
Oh, gosh.
Let's fry our brains before it's Tuesday.
It takes like 5-6 seconds for this thing to actually transition after I hit the button.
There it is.
So strange. Okay.
Head on Nick Fuentes. Fuentes is a 27-year-old man who's dubbed himself the leader of a movement
27.
called the Groypers. He has a large audience of alienated young white men in particular, and he's earned increased media attention over the course of the past few years, especially over the last year. Now, from Tucker Carlson's interview, you might have gathered that Fuentes has some borderline views on race, a peculiar obsession with what he calls organized Jewry, and a rather sad relationship with the female sex. But probably you came away thinking that
And Ben Shapiro trying to diss people is just so funny. Rather peculiar.
That's a very nice way of putting it, Tom.
Yeah.
Anybody know if Nick Fuentes has a girlfriend or a fiance or a wife? Because I've heard some reports about him.
Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't.
I've heard people say things about him playing for the same team. Have you heard this?
I mean, it's a very popular thing on social media. Actually, right now,
Well, somebody.
Nick Fuentes GAY is trending.
Oh, well, the thing that I saw under a video was a comment about him and that guy Destiny.
Oh, that would be brutal. That would literally unite everyone against. I don't know what that would do, actually.
The internet crashes.
for the most part, Fuentes lives on the radical edge of normality. You think that if you watch the interview, because Tucker Carlson decided that it was important not only to host Fuentes, but to smooth over his views, water them down, and make them far more palatable to a normal audience. As we'll discuss in a bit, this is what Tucker Carlson does for a living. But back to Nick Fuentes. To understand just what Tucker did here, we must actually examine what Nick Fuentes says on his show, and has said for almost a decade, because he was asked precisely 0 questions about any of what you're about to see by Tucker Carlson.
This guy started hosting stuff when he was 17, 18 years old.
Who?
Nick Fuentes.
Yeah. Even younger.
And people were listening to him because he was a 16-year-old racist talking?
No, Nick Fuentes was part of those. I think Nick Fuentes might have even started like with the TPUSA thing. Like he was aligned with some of those people. He dated, oh gosh, I forget this, but Nick Fuentes tried dating something Akiva, who is currently part of the Daily Wire. She was a Catholic who converted into Judaism. I forget her name, something Akiva, and he had an affinity for her. Apparently, like he loved her, and then like she left and started talking smack about him.
Oh man, that explains everything, bro. That's it. It's all.
Yeah, and
answered.
she
It's
married a Jew and converted to Judaism.
absolutely answers everything, bro.
It's pretty intense.
This
dude.
guy got his heart broken by a Jewish
Yeah.
girl, and now he hates
You guys
Jews.
search that story up. He says the story. This is not somebody. What he actually like says this entire story himself.
Brother. Now we know exactly why he has a hard time with Jewish people. He couldn't
His
get the
Catholic
girl.
love left him and married a Jew.
Right, that's
and then
enough.
converted
Like,
to
that's it.
Judaism. Oh my God.
Nick Fuentes says women want to be raped.
A lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like,
I mean, when does it sound right?
When I say it like that.
Like, how else would you say it? Where where like your normal person sitting there goes, yes, Nicholas, we know exactly what you mean.
He's trying to say women like it when men are rough, but it's like you could just say that and not use the word
Like,
rape.
look, you can say some women like aggressive men, if that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, the rape part
But
is
he's
not necessary.
not. He's saying something else. It's
a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them.
so
Yeah, what's the context?
the doubling down, just doubling. How old is he in this video?
This is older. This
Okay.
is his America First.
So
yeah.
if he's like 20 or something like that, I'd just say, hey, you're stupid. You don't know how to think well, and you don't know how to express yourself well. A lot of, in my experience as a 19-year-old with women, it's like, bro, you just like maybe hit puberty, maybe, because your voice is supposed to get thicker, but it's never okay. Number one, to say that. Number two, to say, well, let me explain myself. They just want guys to beat them up. You're an idiot. Like, does this guy have sisters?
I have no idea.
What's
about his
this guy's
family
relationship
dynamic.
with his mom?
He might be a Jewish like plant. He might be. Dude, that would be
Hey,
pretty
bro,
insane.
stop listening to Candace. Can you look up what this guy's family thing is? Like, do some research. Don't just sit there like reclining.
This is comfortable.
Like, sis,
man.
I got 5 screens in front of me. You're just
Can I
sitting
just
there.
come in here sometimes and just watch your lives and not say anything? Just have this view. This is
You
such a great
can.
view.
It's completely fine. I won't put you on camera when we do that. But just look up this guy's family. See if he has sisters or his mom and stuff like that.
Nick Fuentes was born on August 18. That's my birthday. They're coming after me, guys. To William and Lauren, Chico. He has a twin sister, Melissa. According to Fuentes, he is. Why is it according to Fuentes, by the way? According to Fuentes, he is of Italian, Irish, and Mexican descent. His father is half Mexican.
This guy's not even white.
Yeah. He grew up in La Grange Park, Illinois. He attended Lyons Township High School, where he was president of the student council. He was raised Catholic. Various sources have reported that his parents share Fuentes' racist views. His parents did not want to visit restaurants associated with black people.
Shut up, man. Okay, he has a twin sister. That's it. Okay.
But also, they have to pretend, but part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
Nick Fuentes says that his followers should kill, rape, and die in his name.
Raise your right hand. All right, everybody, raise your right hand. Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Yeah,
Nick Fuentes says that women are whores who should
that video is kind of a cap, as the younger people say. Like, I don't think he's saying that. I think he's trying to be sarcastic. He's being funny. Whatever.
Okay. Somebody said he has a sister who is ironically liberal. It's not ironically, it's unironically liberal because he himself is a liberal. Listen to me, guys. These guys are all the same.
By the way, Truth Seeker, I appreciate you sharing that. He said, Tom, I agree as someone who... I never see Tom and I agree in the same sentence, by the way.
Yeah, because with my audience, everybody just agrees with me.
As someone who, before Trump, used to consider themselves a libertarian, his presidency and afterwards, and studying dismantled my libertarian ideological bent. Thank God. Because libertarianism is very annoying. And basically anyone who's like kind of conservative and young and doesn't like know anything about like politics goes like, I'm just libertarian, bro. I don't care, bro. Smoke weed, have your abortions, stay out of my business, don't touch my guns. It's like, bro, you're just like clumped a bunch of stuff that don't have anything to do with each other.
Yeah, the thing is that you can be a conservative libertarian or a liberal libertarian.
Or you could just be a conservative non-libertarian.
No, I'm just saying within libertarianism, you get both groups. Just saying.
Yeah, I get it. I always liked Ron Paul.
Yeah. Ron Paul's G. Okay.
Shouldn't be in politics.
I will continue my crusade against women in politics. Because it's always like this, and it's so ironic. Women are like, I don't like, when you say, I like it, you have to affect the face. When you say to repeal the 19th Amendment.
His like movements and stuff are extremely feminine. Like his hand movements, his facial movement. He doesn't have a beard, which I'll immediately for me makes. His mustache grows. He has a mustache, but grow a beard. You want to be a real man, grow a real beard, bro. Mustaches are for people who can't grow beards.
That offends me. That hurts my feelings. It's like, have you ever stopped and considered that maybe if you get offended, there's such a strong emotional reaction to political opinions you disagree with across the board. Maybe that's one of the reasons why you shouldn't be making political decisions. I'm not attacking women. I'm attacking whores. You have no problems, right? I'm attacking whores. I'm attacking sluts, stupid, dirty bitches.
Sorry, I'm so sorry, guys. I haven't heard this much cussing in a very long time.
Yeah.
And Ben Shapiro did
Ben Shapiro's loving this right now.
They didn't even care to edit and to censor whatever, put the bleeps. They're like, we're gonna play it.
Fuentes says that Jim Crow was actually better for black people.
It was better for them too, number one, but number two, who cares? Who cares? Enough with the Jim Crow stuff. Who cares? Oh, they had to drink out of a different water fountain. Big fucking deal. Oh no, they had to go to a different school. Their water fountain in that famous picture was worse. Who cares? Grow up, drink out of the fucking water fountain.
The intellectual abilities of people are seen when they make references to certain things. Like, did you notice that he goes, oh, that one famous picture, rather than actually referring to historical events that have happened? I think those are telling of like how intelligent someone is. Like, your reference is a picture. You don't even know what the picture is. It's just one famous picture. Now, yeah, in the moment, maybe you've forgotten or whatever like that, but your reference shouldn't be a picture. Like, it should be actually historically like thinking about these things. What do you mean? That one picture. Just tell me you're 18 without telling me you're 18. I don't know how old he is in this video.
Also, even if it was better, it doesn't justify it.
Yeah. And it's not better.
Right. Yeah, but I'm saying...
It's never better.
Yeah, but I'm saying even if he was like, black people were more successful or whatever, I think that's the argument he's trying to make before Jim Crow situation, still doesn't justify it.
Bro.
Right? Like, you can't be like if someone is a slave and they live in a, like, let's say a really nice house in their quarters, and then they're given food, and then all of a sudden they fight for their freedom and they're free, and then they're like, they only have one meal a day, but they're free.
It was better.
You can't go up to them and be like, dude, honestly, just go back and be a slave. It was better at that time.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds retarded, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, it really does. It's like crazy.
Because it's stupid, right? Like the whole, like if you actually read the Bible, you'll see the Israelites regularly thinking of themselves like this, where they're like, man, we should go back to Egypt.
Yeah, go back to Egypt.
We had onions and garlic in Egypt, and right now we don't have much to eat. It's just this manna, this boring manna. Can we get some meat? Oh, we got quail. Oh, man, it's boring manna and quail. We need some spices and stuff like that. And it's like, God's not like, oh, yeah, it was better for you guys.
Again, I have a lot of questions for God, but that's for another time. Like, why quail?
The same.
Why quail?
Don't worry about it. Quail. Have you eaten quail?
I don't even know what a quail is. I'm assuming it's a bird. It's a bird, right?
Tom, you can't be serious.
What's a quail? I know that they were given manna and quail, but
okay. I'm going to give you my word.
I outed myself here.
First and foremost, every single Armenian barbecue store that you buy meat from regularly has quail there.
It's a bird. It's a bird.
Yes, it's a nice plump bird.
Yes.
It's like a small chicken.
Yeah.
It's actually really tasty.
Oh, is it?
You know where in Glendale has really good quail? I used to go there just to eat their quail, actually. Elena's on Acacia. And
I love Elena's.
Yeah.
They have the Greek.
They have quail.
Greek bistro or whatever, Greek food.
Yeah. They have quail, and it's really good. So if you're thinking about taking your wife out for some quail.
Hi, baby. Let's go have some manna and quail. It come from the sky.
Yeah. Okay, let's listen to this guy.
You know, and, even if it was bad, who cares? Who cares? It's better. It's better in general. We all agree it was better for them. It's better for us.
We don't all agree. Like, who is this guy? He just thinks he's like the representative of the all.
It's better in general.
Nick Fuentes says that white people are justified in being racist.
Reason that we talk about this, by the way, I know a lot of black people see this and they go, man, why are you always talking about black people, this and that? Because there just needs to be some shame here. Well, there's a few reasons. First, white people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them.
Nick Fuentes is a Hitler admirer and a Holocaust denier.
Pause there. So he's speaking in reference to, if I'm not wrong here, he's speaking in reference to the stabbing of Irina. What was her last name? Man, it sucks that I forgot it. Irina, that girl that got stabbed on the train. I think he's talking in reference to that, and he's saying why people have every right to be racist, and then he explains that, qualifies it by saying, like, as long as that racism is only shown in ignoring black people when you're walking down the street because they might stab you, is the implication he's trying to make. So it's horrible, but you can see how even what Ben Shapiro is doing here it could be a little deceptive if you don't know the context behind what he's saying.
Thank you for giving us contextual clues here, by the way.
Buddy, it's Führer Friday. It is Hitler Friday.
I'm sorry for what he's about to say, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for what he's going to say. Stupid.
Hey, shut up. It is Heil Hitler Friday, nigga. Heil Hitler, all my niggas Nazis.
Hitler was a pedophile?
By this video specifically, I don't again know how old he is, but this is like the most feminine a guy can act.
Like just this
like his finger and his voice. No, why are your fingers so skinny, bro? Why do you have such skinny fingers? That's weird, man. I would just say those are feminine fingers.
Can you imagine him like sitting around our guys' Bible study trying to like lecture us on
it would be amazing.
How it is to be an American.
I don't know if I've ever at a Bible study told someone to shut up. But I would tell this guy to shut up.
Yeah.
And kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boy?
I'm not sure whether that's true, by the way. He's still a child.
Boys, am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool. It doesn't really sound correct to me. Wait a second. It takes 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day. So
this is the worst part.
Years.
This is one of the. So he's kind of moderated himself a little bit. Is that moderated? Am I using the word?
That's fine.
Yeah. So he was crazier, believe it or not. Now he's kind of become like, oh no, that's not what I mean. So these are some of the most. These are like more concerning than the F this, F that. Hitler is cool. But like, listen to. So he's trying to say here, guys, that he disagrees with the 6 million. I've seen this entire video. The 6 million figure of the number of Jews dying. Which, by the way, there's Christians like Russes Rushtuni who makes a similar argument, but he actually talks about this and numbers and stuff. But look at the way this is done, and tell me if this is someone who's leading a Christian revolution here.
Here's how long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there. The math doesn't quite seem to add up there. I don't think you'd result in 6 million, maybe 200 to 300,000 cookies. And I think the Red Cookie Association said something like that, probably 200 to 300,000 cookies baked. probably. And in addition, in this hypothetical, I imagine that if you took aerial photographs over the kitchens, you would need to see certain smokestacks to release the smoke from baking the cookies, and the smokestacks would project certain shadows, but I guess they're not visible in the aerial photographs taken over the kitchens. Moreover, if you look at the soil texture, it's really not deep enough for mass cookie storage underground.
Nick Fuentes believes that the Jews start all the wars, that perfidious Jews in positions of power ought to be killed, and says the Jews are filth who have to be removed from
Anybody that says that Jews start all the wars is just like off the rocker, by the way. Every war ever?
the country.
And once again, remember who is responsible for it all: the Jews. They are responsible for every war in the world. It's not even debatable at this point. This has nothing to do with oil. This has nothing.
Tom, should we just start a war so that this statement is just
Seriously,
false?
honestly. Or we could just blame it on the Jews anyways if it's...
No, somebody would make a documentary and say, secretly Arthur and Tom are Jews.
Nothing to do with democracy. This has nothing to do with liberal internationalism. We are at war with Iran because they pose a threat to Israel's hegemony. That's why we're bombing their nukes, to pave the way for regime change so Israel can dominate the region, because that makes them the most powerful they can be.
Hey,
There is an occult.
nut job. Sorry, I was going to say nut job. Yeah. Like, Iran kills Christians. You know how I know? Because my pastor's family was killed by the Iranian government. Yeah. Okay? And it wasn't the Jews who were doing it. It were radical Muslims within the Shia Islamic government, the mullahs, that hated the fact that there was an evangel, and they knew it. They're smart people. They're not dumb people. They knew the underground was starting to shake a little with the Christians actually making noise, and they killed Christians. They killed numerous Christian pastors, okay? So if you're this a holier than thou kind of Christian here, do you not realize what the heck you're saying, how stupid it sounds?
Exactly.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that one of the comments is that Nick doesn't realize that the danger he is to all young men. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
That's what I was trying to communicate earlier, that I don't think he cares, because I don't think he actually cares about his audience. He cares about himself. And I think Tom's comment just right now about Iran and the killing of Christians in Iran is evident. It's evidence of that. He claims to be this Christian X, Y, and Z, but this is a government that regularly persecutes Christians and kills Christians.
Element at the high levels of society, and specifically among the Jews. So many of the people that are perpetrating the lies and the destruction on the country, they are evildoers. They are people that worship false gods. They are people that practice magic or rituals or whatever. And more than anything, those people need to be, when we take power, they need to be given the death penalty. Straight up. And I'm far more concerned about that than I am about even non-white people or mass migration. These people that are communing with demons and engaging in this sort of witchcraft and stuff, and these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power. This is God's country. This is Jesus' country. This is not the...
This is Jesus' country, but I never read the Bible, and I'm spewing all sorts of nonsense that's anti-biblical. This is Jesus' country. The guy who said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
Yeah.
It's Jesus' country.
Domain of atheists or devil worshippers or perfidious...
To put atheists and devil worshippers in the same sentence to me is just insane, by the way.
Jews, this is Christ's country.
Josh Hammer and Mark Levin.
Should I play this? I don't want to play this because he just cusses. You can say, you can tell what he's about to say.
F them.
Yeah, there's no substantial comment. It's just the F word constantly.
Fuck.
Oh, you want me to be the beep? I'll be the beep.
No, man. Okay, Ben.
And there's plenty more where that came from, of course. Hours of it per day, in fact. And there's no doubt that Nick Fuentes has a lot of play these days. That's because the left, by moving into a politics of anti-white, anti-Christian, anti-male identitarianism, created its bizarro mirror image, a white pseudo-Christian incel identitarian movement.
Bro, that's insane. Do you know what bizarro is?
No.
But
Oh, I thought he said bizarre.
no, man.
Like bizarre, like it's...
No, you know, I'll show
That
you.
says bizarre.
Do you know who Bizarro is, bro?
Come on, you guys thought it said bizarre.
No,
I literally thought
no.
it meant bizarre.
No, this is not what I'm looking for.
Oh, bizarro.
No,
That's what
no.
he said.
No, this is Bizarro.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
Right?
this.
So this is Bizarro. It's essentially Superman's like
Superman's-
zombie
Yes,
clone.
yes.
Okay, so he's saying the left has created a Bizarro image. This like zombie version of themselves in Nick Fuentes.
That's so true because it is an identitarian movement.
Yeah. Hey man,
Wow.
Ben Shapiro's quick on this stuff. I don't know if he
Ben
has writers
Shapiro,
for
his
this, or he
writers
wrote
are
it for
killer.
himself.
His
But
writers
that
are
was
really
really good.
Yeah.
Dedicated to destroying the institutions of this country and replacing Americanism with something else. Nick Fuentes' philosophy is not fully formed. It's an incoherent stew of malignity. But that's where Tucker Carlson enters the story. Now, since his exit from Fox News in
I wish I could
2023,
talk
when,
like
of course,
that.
he was a very, very popular host, Tucker Carlson has turned himself into a conspiracist and a crank and a pathological liar. Tucker excuses Vladimir Putin's murderous and barbarous reign. He has even become one of his most ardent defenders.
It is so much nicer than any city in my country. I had no idea. My father spent a lot of time there in the 80s when he worked for the U.S. government and barely had electricity.
Tucker and I experienced Russia at different times in our lives. So
Yeah, it might be the most beautiful place in the world.
I don't know what the heck he's talking about there, because when I was in Russia, people were sleeping on the ground everywhere. Drunks were just like passed out, where the city would come and just like collect them into vans and take them. Alcoholism was rampant when I was in Russia. Now that is the mid 90s, but I think he mentions this, but it's very interesting to me that he says this.
And now it is so much cleaner and safer and prettier aesthetically. It's architecture, it's food, it's service than any country, city in the United States that you have to, and this is non-ideological. How did that happen? How did that?
So you know
It's
what's
food.
funny?
Russian food, bro. You need to come to Glenda, homeboy. Like seriously, Russian.
So you know what's funny? Like the very kind of like the anti-Israeli sort of pro, and these two are not necessarily always in the same thing together, but like the pro-conspiratorial right and stuff like that. They're all like, Tucker Carlson is exposing the truth and stuff. But it's so weird to me that Tucker Carlson's dad was a CIA agent. Like he worked for the CIA. It's like, have you guys thought about he could be the one that's actually? And then it was funny because someone asked him, like, I think during the TPUSA event, like 4 days ago, someone's like, hey, your dad was a CIA, and he just said like, out of respect for today, I'm not gonna come like punch you in the face, even though I could come punch you in the face, but don't talk about my dad again. And then he went on to say, it's like, dude, your dad being part of the CIA is like the perfect breeding grounds for conspiracy, but you just want us to ignore that?
Yeah. Wasn't Tucker like liberal and on CNN and stuff?
Yeah, Tucker was never really ideologically anywhere.
So here's my issue. The individuals that we're seeing, this is what I'm trying to say. The individuals that we're seeing, Tucker, Candace, these people were like pretty liberal, and then they became conservative, reactionary. Dave Rubin the same way. And this is what I'm saying in regards to like if we're going to look at them as conservatives in a kind of true sense. Not to say that somebody can't be liberal and then actually go through an ideological shift and then say, no, I think this is true. But it doesn't seem like that's the case for them. Like I would say they're maybe now like moderates.
Yeah.
Maybe they're libertarians. Who knows? So the guy asked him a question and said, do you think your conspiratorial thinking was like bred because of your dad's CIA work? Is that what the question was? Because
no, not necessarily. He said your dad was part of the CIA and asked the question, like kind of implying that, like, hey, like talk about this issue. But then he got really pissed off.
Why is it? Are people suggesting that Tucker might be a CIA asset?
Yeah, I mean, people are suggesting that Tucker might be like a CIA plant to like bring Russian disinformation. I don't know. It's all over the place, but yeah. But that is true that his dad was involved. And apparently, I might be wrong about this. Like, I'm not reading anything here off the top of my head, but apparently, like, his dad, like sold out some secrets or something like that. Like, something with the Russian government where he snitched one way or the other.
Oh, interesting.
And at a certain point, I don't think the average person cares as much about abstractions as about the concrete reality of his life. And if you can't use your subway, for example, as many people are afraid to in New York City because it's too dangerous, you have to sort of wonder.
It's nice to see Tucker get a nice haircut where like it's faded on the sides, kind of like the way your haircut is.
Yeah.
It's like too messy.
Like, isn't that the ultimate measure of leadership? And that's true, by the way, it's radicalizing for an American to go to Moscow. I didn't know that. I've learned
I'm
it this week.
officially giving Tucker Carlson an invite to come over to where we are. I'll cook barbecue for him, just so that he tastes.
Yeah, our stores look very similar to Russia, Mr. Carlson. We have a lot of Russian
They're
goods.
abundant in good food.
Please come. We have a lot of Russian seeds and goods and stuff like that.
To Singapore, to Tokyo, to Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Because these cities, no matter how we're told they're run and on what principles they're run, are wonderful places to live. So I guess you put in 10 rubles here.
This is something else, and I'm like done with. So this was the most frustrating thing. Well, sorry, this was one of the more frustrating things for me in Armenia, because you needed to have 200 dirham with you, which is what the Armenian cards were, where you'd put it in there and then it would unlock. And then I never had change on me. Like I never had.
Oh, so you couldn't take it?
So it was very annoying because I had to go around. I'm like, can somebody break this? Give me some of these coins so I can go get it. It's so annoying.
So is it enough money where people would put it back?
Bro.
Like I felt like if I was on like the far end of Costco.
No.
And I was like, I have to walk this thing back for something. I'd be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Keep the couple dollars.
In Armenia, it's not 200 dirham.
Yeah,
it's not.
They need to make it like 100 American dollars.
Let's put it this way. It would be if you got like a 10, let's say 8 to 10 minute taxi ride somewhere, it'd be 600 dirham minimum.
Okay. So it's like $5, $2.
What's $2? No,
what
man,
they're charging you is like $2.
400 something dirham is like $1, or like 500 dirham is like $1.
So it's even less.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you get it back when you put the card.
I love the way he's explaining this, like as though it's some crazy invention.
And then it's so ugly too, by the way.
It's like all beat up and stuff.
Back. So it's free, but there's an incentive to return it and not just bring it to your homeless encampment. I went from amused to legitimately angry. So we were guessing what this would cost. Everybody hears from the United States buys groceries, and we.
Okay, then he's like, oh, the food costs less here. Okay, and then what? Like the food costs less in a lot of countries that are third world countries.
Yeah, and they can't even afford $100 that it costs.
Like you can't compare that. Like when I was in Armenia, I could go shop and get a bunch of stuff. Like we had we were living on money that we had fundraised. Okay, and. Yeah, food was cheaper. So we were able, like, if we were to live in the States, fundraise like that, it'd be 2-3 times the amount. Like, but it's not like, you can't like compare Armenia to the United States.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, food's cheaper here. Yeah, duh!
It's about $400. Ideology, and you tank. At that point, maybe it matters less what you say or whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're wrecking people's lives in their country. And
Musing any difficult question, easy question. When Tucker Carlson interviewed
maybe
Vladimir
go
Putin,
like
by the way,
a little
Vladimir
towards
Putin was
the
so
endish.
Where?
Like somewhere where he's sort of he summarizing it. I think he just puts clips and clips and clips. Yeah. So Ben just wants to mainly just expose what some of these guys are saying. Some of it good, some of it bad.
Hang on. I'll go there.
Here, for example, is what Nick Fuentes has said about J.D. Vance's wife, Usha.
Andrew Tate and Bronze Age pervert and all these people, for years, all they talk about is going to the gym, being a vitalist, fighting the Matrix, India smells bad, all this kind of shit. And now they're all in favor of a fat race mixer who's married to a Jeet who named his son Vivek, who was mentored by a Jewish neocon and a gay fed, Peter Thiel. This guy has a non-white wife and a kid named Vivek. This guy is going to be a defender of white identity? I don't think so. This guy's going to defend American identity?
See, here's the issue. See, the way he's defining conservatism is that he's defining, no, that's not conservatism. He's going to defend white identity. That's not conservatism.
Also, you're not white. You're 25% Mexican.
And like Italian and Irish and stuff.
Yeah. It's so funny.
Go away. You're an Italian Catholic. Like you realize that like Italians were persecuted in America for being a minority, and you realize that like Catholics couldn't hold office.
Yeah. Which I strongly support. Actually, no, not for the next
you do
election.
not.
Not for we need after JD Vance's presidency.
Stop saying dumb things, man. Oh gosh.
You slammed JD Vance for having an Indian wife. Yet Trump's wife is an immigrant who was working here legally for a time. His son is half foreign, bilingual, and holds dual citizenship. Yet you give him a pass. You're either a hypocrite or just retarded.
She's white. Dude, she's white.
But you're not. That's the response. But you're not.
If we had millions of Slovenian supermodels immigrating to America,
This guy realized not everybody in Slovenia is a supermodel. Like there's normal people there. See, this is a weird infatuation with some of these people.
Yeah, like Eastern European.
Who think like all Eastern Europeans are like these gorgeous, like, bro.
Yeah. You'd be surprised. A lot of them don't shave their armpits. Don't ask me how I know.
don't think we'd have a big problem with it.
Tucker Carlson had on Nick Fuentes and did not ask him a single question about any of this. He just brought him on to launder his ugly ideas and make him more popular. That doesn't seem quite like the act of a friend. Which, finally, brings us to the Heritage Foundation. Now, I have a long and admiring
Okay, now we're going to get the thing about the Heritage Foundation. Okay.
relationship with the Heritage Foundation. One of the very first outlets to pick up my syndicated column when I was 17 years old, 24 years ago, was townhall.com, then a property of the Heritage Foundation. I know most of the leadership very well, and I have for decades. I know Kevin Roberts, and I like him, and I'm grateful for his contributions to the conservative movement. If you're a regular watcher of this show, you can check the interview I did with Kevin on the release of his book just last December. Which is why what Kevin Roberts did last week is tragic and awful. He put out a statement that Heritage Foundation didn't just stand by Tucker Carlson. Kevin instead said openly and repeatedly that Tucker Carlson can do nothing, ever, that will sever his relationship with the conservative movement. He said that after and in defense of Tucker's glossing of Hitler defender Nick Fuentes. And he added that only members of the globalist class, direct quote, a venomous coalition, direct quote, subject to the dictates of someone else's agenda, direct quote, oppose Heritage's ongoing relationship with Tucker Carlson, which means that according to Kevin Roberts, apparently, anyone opposing the ongoing mainstreaming of Tucker Carlson is acting on behalf of a foreign power. Kevin's statement is a betrayal of the Heritage Foundation's history and principles, which is presumably why both Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes loved it. And that's a tragedy, because America needs a robust conservative organization based on principle and ideas, not personal loyalty to bad actors like Tucker Carlson. We need strong leaders in the conservative movement willing to speak out against the moral rot that threatens our future. I hope Kevin Roberts and Heritage show up.
See, I agree, but sort of, right? Because, like, it could be very well stated, and Arthur, you know my views here, that a lot of Christian organizations are blindly in support of Israel and its causes, like, regardless of what they're doing, right? So, like, it could be said the same the other way. But would Ben Shapiro call out the other side? I completely doubt it. Like, would Ben Shapiro call out Christian organizations on the other side, you know, that are blindly supporting Israel? Would he say, like, hey, maybe you shouldn't blindly support us. Yeah. Maybe you should, like, have real reasons why you're supporting what we're doing. But I don't know, man. That part is a little
I think you're talking about, like, political ideology in theory versus political ideology in practice.
Yeah.
Right. But I like what Ben is saying here, because he's actually developing what we were doing at the beginning with the quotes, with the definitions of conservatism that I read. He's saying this is the kind of conservatism we need to have, or else it's going to get hijacked by random people.
Yeah, true.
Plus, they can still be those leaders. But if not, we'll have to look elsewhere. So, why is all of this happening? Because, like the Democratic Party, the Republican Party is being eaten by its radicals. Many in the political class are too cowardly to stand up. Apparently, they're willing to play footsie with Groypers and hug Tucker Carlson out of fear of somehow losing support. They've been bamboozled by the lies of the X algorithm and the TikTok metrics. The left followed its radicals to electoral hell. Apparently, many on the right wish to do the same. Forget the morality then for just a moment. Let's be pragmatic. Here is the thing. Americans hate Nick Fuentes' philosophy. They think it's trash. Republicans, by the polling, think it's trash. Independents think it's trash. Democrats think it's trash. And here's the other thing. Americans hate Tucker Carlson's laundered anti-Americanism. Republicans think it's trash. Independents think it's trash. Democrats think it's trash. Americans are not pro-segregation, pro-rape, anti-woman, pro-child marriage, anti-black, anti-Jew, anti-Indian, anti-Latino, anti-Constitution, pro-Hitler nutjobs like Nick Fuentes.
Who's anti-Latino? Nick Fuentes?
And Americans are not pro-Putin, pro-Iran, pro-China, pro-Venezuela, pro-Hamas, pro-Fuentes, pro-Tate idiots like Tucker Carlson. They hate this vile garbage. If Republicans decide to cower before the likes of neo-Nazis and their propagandizers, they deserve to lose. And they will lose. Neo-Nazis and their propagandizers are not Republicans. They're not America First. They're not MAGA. They sure as hell aren't conservative. These people aren't to my right. They're not attached in any way to the fundamental principles.
I completely agree with Ben.
I like that point right there.
I completely agree with what Ben is saying here. They're on the left.
They're not to my right. I like that. I really like that.
Yeah.
And these people have already declared themselves to be my enemies. I'd be a fool not to take them seriously. If they get their way, they will hollow out the Republican Party, lead it to electoral catastrophe, and empty it and the country of any semblance of decency in the process. My answer is no. No to the Groypers. No to their publicists like Tucker Carlson. No to those who champion them. No to demoralization. No to bigotry and anti-meritocratic horseshit. No to anti-Americanism. No. This is our country. This is our party. And this is our conservative movement. And I will not stand by while it is handed over to those who betray the most fundamental principles I've spent my entire life defending and advocating. That is a path to defeat and a path to moral oblivion. I reject it because if we lose the right, we will lose to the left. And either way, we'll lose the country. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show.
Well said, I think. And there's a lot of stuff I disagree with Ben on. Like, for example, he needs to become a Christian. Like, I disagree with him continuing to be Jewish.
And also, like, it could be that Christians genuinely think the war in Gaza is becoming genocidal, and so they're, like, not standing by.
Well, here's the thing.
You get what I'm saying? Like, that could be.
Here's the thing. People can change their mind, and people do change their mind. So, in the thing that in some people's minds or most people's minds would have been justified war, in the beginning, they would have said, no, we're okay with Israel responding to this. And then if they continuously saw Israel act a certain way, then people could actually change their mind and saying, hey, no, they're going over the top here. Like, that is not a normal way to respond to
the question is, can Ben change his mind?
Can Ben change his mind?
Do you think it's decent? Would you say this is a true statement? That anybody who is objectively looking at what's happening there and supported it in the beginning should come to the conclusion that it's over the top now.
Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you think there are citizens in Israel that are against the way the Israeli government is acting in this conflict?
100%.
100% there are. So, like, even the idea that, like, all Jews would be for this. I'm not even talking about Jews, like, across the world.
Yeah.
Because you and I both know this very well. In regards to the Armenian issue, there's a lot of people here in the States or in the diaspora where they think Armenia should be run a certain way, where you actually go and interview people in Armenia about how Armenia should be run. It's completely opposite to people here. Because people in the diaspora tend to have more, like, romanticized views.
They're like, give us our lands back that we don't live in.
And people in that country who are constantly facing war are... they're more practical or realistic in the way they think about, right? And they'll tell you straight to your face, hey, you don't live here.
Yeah.
You're not thinking about, like, bro, I'll tell you this sobering conversation I had about a month and a half ago.
I'm listening.
A month ago. I was talking to a guy who's recently come to the United States. Doesn't know English that well and stuff like that. And we're talking about why he came, and he said he told me this story. He's like, oh, you know, people when he came through, like, winning the green card lottery and stuff like that. And so he said when we won it, you know, some of my neighbors in my village and stuff like that found out that we're coming in, and basically one of his neighbors was like, why are you going to leave and all this stuff? And he said, because I have 3 sons. I don't want them in 15 years. I don't want them 15 years later to go and die in another war.
Yeah.
And then he shared, he said there was someone in their village who lost their son in the recent war. And he said that guy was just a shell of the man he was. Like, he would just walk around absolutely depressed, not knowing what his life's about, 24 hours a day. And he goes, I look at that guy and I go, I don't want to be that guy. Like, I don't have confidence that there won't be another war. You know, like, this guy left, and you could, and someone's, like, sitting in America and they're, like, 4th generation, 3rd generation, right? And they're going, oh man, he should have stayed in this and that. I'm like, why don't you get up and move back?
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot of, like, with the diaspora, I'm explaining the Armenian context, but the same thing exists in the Jewish context, by the way. Now, you maybe can say the Jewish, you know, the Israeli lobby is really good. It utilizes the power of the diaspora and stuff like that. And good for them. Like, seriously, good for them. I wish the Armenian lobby was able to do that as well. Yeah. Like, seriously. Like, do you not, Tom?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Like, it would be really nice that Armenia would have a very strong relationship with the United States, with powerful nations who were investing in that country and making that country a better place. Like, I know there's a conflict, like, in the Armenian politics, like pro-Russian, pro-Western, all this stuff. But, like, okay, we've done it for 30-something years, plus the 70 years the Russians controlled our country. After that, another 30 years with Russian involvement, and it hasn't really gotten as much. So why not try something else, maybe? Saying.
So, Arthur, do you think if I was sitting in front of Ben Shapiro today, and I said, hey, Ben, I respect your conservative views, but I think what's happening, what the state of Israel is doing, is a genocide in Gaza. By the way, I'm not saying that's
he would disagree with you. And my guess is he would disagree with you based on technicality. He would say, look, genocide by definition is when you target a group of people and you try to kill them. And he would go into something like, this is urban warfare, and urban warfare looks very different.
Yeah.
And he would probably throw it back to you and say, how are we supposed to fight a war where you don't know who your enemies are? And that they're, putting bombs underneath hospitals and schools and stuff like that. There is a complicated aspect of the war, bro. Again, people who've seen this, I'm not a very big fan of
I
the
just
state
don't know
of
if he's
Israel.
going to be that gracious in his response. I feel like it would be more like what Tucker Carlson just went through.
Yeah, he'd be a lot more aggressive back towards you. Yeah, I'm not.
I think that's what a lot of Christians believe now.
I know. I'm not saying they would say it the way I would say it, and I would say it like that. I'd say, hey, man, like, have you considered the following things, Tom? Right, and for me, the Christianity comes before anything else. So when I sit across people who are my Christian brothers, and we have conversations over these things, the Christianity precedes anything else that we disagree about.
That's right.
And so the conversations look very different. And sometimes maybe we don't have an answer. Like, I'm fine with saying, hey, the situation, like, I don't necessarily have an answer. I don't even know what I would do if I was in that position. Yeah. Right? And the other thing is, like, does everybody in Israel support Benjamin Netanyahu? Not necessarily. He was not a very liked character. So when you're saying this, I'm thinking, well, maybe Ben doesn't like Benjamin Netanyahu. Maybe Israel's at a state where, like, everybody's come together, like, everybody that disagrees with each other has come together for this cause, and then they're gonna go back to disagreeing and doing all that stuff. War generally does that in countries where everybody kind of forgets their political differences and tries to come together. It would be really weird if your country's at war and then you're still doing the normal politics. That's weird, because you're fighting for your existence essentially. So that doesn't make much sense. So yeah, I don't know. But here's the thing, guys. The war in Gaza is genocide. It's not becoming. I hear from ground in Lebanon from my relatives, not to mention other Jews too. No one talks about Christian Palestinians either. There are many. Yes, I've spoken about Christian Palestinians constantly, that the Christians, or Christian Jews.
Who is that person messaging?
Salwa.
Why am I not getting those messages from her? Did she block me or something?
What?
Like, I don't see any of those messages. There's usually a lag, but I get the messages before you.
Yeah.
I don't know. The last message I got was a trash. Maybe maybe you're up.
That's Jerome, right there.
Yeah, but after that, I have no messages except Truth Seeker. He just messaged. Look.
Oh, so you're not seeing Salwa's?
No. Look at my phone.
Did you somehow block her?
No, I didn't, because I've seen previous messages. But that's kind of freaky that YouTube might be
Okay, this is weird, because right now there's a comment by her where it says Tucker is multimillionaire. So the comment she left about Tucker being a multimillionaire is on your screen?
Yes.
But then the two other comments she left is not there. Mm-hmm. That's very strange.
And especially since she's talking about, like, genocide. You see how it starts, man?
Oh, you know what?
Imagine him.
Dude, that's insane. So I don't know whether... Hey, Salwa, did you take your comment down? Because... Hang on here.
Oh, you're not seeing it there either.
No. So on my YouTube thing, it's not showing up, but the comment was put up because this thing doesn't delete the comments.
So can you put her comment deleted up?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So guys, like, that's the comment that's not showing. Like, that's not normal.
This comment is not showing. And
No, there's no way she deleted these comments.
this comment is not
Because
showing.
if she deleted the comments, it would tell me that she deleted
Yeah,
it.
it's not deleted.
It tells me like message deleted by sender or
Yeah.
retracted or something
It's
like
not.
that. All right, I take back everything I said today.
Yeah, I wonder if YouTube is doing some kind of
It is doing it. There's no other explanation. The
but like-
only comment that talks about like it being a genocide.
This one is saying Shapiro is so pro Netanyahu, it's disturbing. Netanyahu is vile. Is a vile man requiring to be in a court of law. He's supposed to be for numerous crimes he committed, and Shapiro wouldn't dare talk to him. Yeah, you probably know more about this stuff than I do, simply put, but they can't see it either. This is very interesting.
So guys, it's
Okay, hang on. She wrote something. Let me see what happened. You realize we're not seeing. Okay, Israel, the state. No, that one we're seeing. That one's up. But this one, she said the war the war in Gaza is genocide. It's not becoming one. I hear from the ground in Lebanon from my relatives, not to mention other Jews. No one talks about the Christian Palestinians. So the comment I would put on this, yeah, YouTube is doing it. So the thing I would say is, and not to overgeneralize Israelis, okay? I was actually talking to someone who is not ethnically an Israeli, but from Israel, and he had a pretty positive response to his relationship with Jews living in Israel, right? But there's a good population. There's a good amount of the population in Israel that doesn't want anyone but Israelis being in Israel. That's clearly the case. You can see this everywhere. But to me, they're the same sort of individuals as Nick Fuentes. That's the thing. It's like someone like Nick Fuentes can point that out and be like, look, I told you Jews hate other people. Like, look, they're bothering the Armenians. They're bothering the Palestinians, this and that. And I'm sitting there saying, you're the same person. You want people, you want America to be like all white. You Italian, Irish, Mexican guy. You want America to be white.
See, it is absolutely not a genocide.
Yeah.
See, you got two Christians right here in front of us. One says there is no question it's a genocide.
Correct.
The other says it is absolutely.
So this is where
Not
I
a
would say.
genocide.
So this is where I would say, guys, that you guys need to define. Close the door. This is where I would say that it's very important to define the term, because sometimes it's just terminology. A genocide, by definition, is not the mass killing of people. That's not a proper definition of genocide. Just because there's a mass amount of people that die, you can't say that's a genocide. A genocide, by definition, is the mass killing of people because they're a specific ethnicity, because they're specific skin color or religion, or there needs to be that added factor on top of the mass killing. Then you can say it. So
I mean, not that mass killing is any better.
no, I'm not saying it's better. You can call it that, but it's important because then we start arguing over words and technicalities, and it's unnecessary. And how do I know this? Well, because the word genocide was coined because of the Armenian genocide. As far as I know, by the way, it was coined by a Jewish person.
Yes.
And it's the mass killings.
Something Lenkin.
Bro, stop
Sorry.
fighting with yourself. And so if that's what your argument is over, you guys got to be careful there, right? Because so the question is going to be, does the Israeli government have a policy where we want to kill all these people because they're Palestinians or Gazans or whatever, right? Because they're Arabs, because they're Muslims, and if you can't prove that, you're going to have a hard time calling it a genocide. If you say, well, no, they're targeting everyone, they just want to wipe everyone out, just doing mass killing. So it just matters. These words matter as to how we use them, okay?
Salwa, are you
She's Lebanese.
Are you like a writer or a poet?
I think so. She's a writer.
Okay.
She's from Australia, by the way.
I just saw one of her writings.
Yeah. And she's in Australia. Appreciate you joining us, by the way. When I research, I read both sides of the coin. It's time consuming. Yes, it is. It's extensive. It requires patience and clear factual reasoning, discernment, and so concerning research. Sorry. Okay.
Uh-oh. You're doing like you're doing with Erica and Charlie Kirk, right? It is deeply disturbing, if I recall. And Erica's hugging Vance is disturbing as well. I don't know if I trust your research. Oh, I want to know what Sawa said about the Erica Kirk.
She said that it was deeply disturbing to her to see her that comfortably hug someone that way.
Yeah, I mean, there was a video made of her hugging other people, and it was the exact hug.
Yeah,
with like women, by the way.
Yes, that's what I saw. I saw that. It could be. I said this the other day too. It could be a habitual thing where she
like you're a bad hugger.
Yeah,
I mean, we had that. Like I've experienced that. There's certain people, even at churches and stuff, where they're very like handsy with their hugs and stuff like that. Now they're not the or whatever, the wife.
Yeah,
leave her alone, man. Honestly,
I would say, look. She needs to realize. I guess she's grieving and all that stuff, but she needs to realize that there are 1,000 times more eyes on her now than there was.
Yeah,
like the thing is, there was no eyes on her really. She was the wife of Charlie Kirk, and all the attention was on Charlie Kirk. Now the attention is all on her, and she needs to be aware of that. She can't be naive to that. Okay, so there's maybe mannerisms and things where she could have done in the past that would have been okay that are no longer okay. And people who are advising her should advise her that way. By the way, Erica Kirk did a sit down with Jesse Waters, who's really good friends with Charlie. And there's another day, I actually showed this where she's hugging Jesse and she has her head on his like chest. And I'm just like, that's the conclusion where I was like, dude, it doesn't seem to me that she's like, there's some boundaries, right?
Sawa, can you help us with some investigative
journalism?
Research? Seriously, I would love to have that.
Oh, us? Like, Apologia Center?
Like Apologia Center. Help us investigate somebody.
No, we're not doing the. No, we are not doing. We're not.
Let's investigate Nick Fuentes. You like that? You like that a little bit? You liked it. You thought about it. You're like.
I held myself back from saying something.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're not going to become Candace's research army. Someone sent me the screenshot. I'm going to share it with y'all because it's okay. Okay, guys, I think my son opened the door and she was like,
I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm going to send you something right now before.
Like, should I end this show?
No. I want you to laugh on the stream. Hey, by the way, I also did. Now I'm scared you're going to pull up the wrong one.
No, I'm not going to pull it up.
Okay, let me. No, there's something I did put. I want you to pull up.
Which one?
This one is just something somebody made that I don't want you to pull up. By the way, if somebody ever gets like a hold of my phone,
oh my gosh,
I feel like I'll literally just have to bury myself at that point. My phone is
okay.
There's so many inappropriate things on my phone, and these are not things that I've even said.
Who sent you this?
It's just I'm part of group chats and stuff like that. It's like.
By the way, who sent you this?
I don't want to say.
It's like this looks nothing like us.
No, I know, but it's just it's funny.
Yeah. Well, I can tell people what it is.
But why is there two people next
I don't know.
to
In
me?
your picture, there's two people. It's like you with two heads. You see, the shoulder is connected. Yeah, AI, whatever AI they're using is really bad. But pretty much they took a picture and it messed up my jersey. Look what they did to my jersey. It's just like messed it up. They essentially took it and they put yarmulkes on
In conclusion, Tom's self-reporting.
Yeah,
no, what I meant is... what I meant, by the way, is I have a lot of weird conversations in my phone. Oh, man.
This is going to get worse. I just left. Don't take the rug with you. Bro, what's up with the rug?
Brother, this is my prayer mat.
Look, I think if people are honest, like generally if they have group chats, they realize that their group chats sometimes like get unhinged and like the conversations become about random stuff.
Yeah. That's all we were saying, buddy.
Yeah. Well, she said, yes, I'll be happy if you're all in agreement, but I think Arthur may not be happy with that. Yeah, the thing is, no, I don't want to investigate random people. But there might be some room for that, like research wise. Like, so I'm just thinking because the idea was thrown out.
Dude, you got an author, poet, investigative journalist watching your stream. I would take major advantage of that. You know what? Investigate Arthur for all I...
So please don't. I went on a podcast. And they got complaints about me, saying that I bullied them when I was in junior high school. Like I had to go on the podcast and they were like, hey brother, somebody reached out to us and they said they can't believe that we're having you on because you bullied them in high school. Like I had to spend like the first 5 minutes apologizing to that person for their trauma from junior high school. And I was like, I'm not, I became a Christian when I was 18. Like I wasn't a Christian before. I'm sorry. Like, so
I'd be screwed because I bullied so many people. I probably would just reject it. I'd be like, sorry. Too much. I would have to spend the whole stream apologizing.
It was very interesting. That even in itself is very interesting. Come to think about it, in the sense that, here I am, like, whatever. I don't know when that happened, but like 37-year-old man, and assuming the other person is also 37.
Yeah.
And they're having a hard time with me from when I was 13, 14 years old.
Yeah. What you do to this person, bro?
I have no idea.
It's got to be bad. Like, you got to stick a pin up. Like, it's got to be bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It probably was.
You're a great guy, bro. I vouch for you.
Thank you. Well, Jesus has changed me quite a bit. And it was a good opportunity to speak about the grace of God and, how I've changed and all that stuff and what God's done in my life.
Like, if the only thing people can say about you while you're like, if you're like trying to get on a podcast like that, is that you like bullied them when you were 13 or something. Like, you did well in life, bro.
Well, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other stuff people can say just that at one time.
That's for Sawa to find out, not us.
Oh gosh, but I was thinking. Let me think about that a bit, because there might be some things where I would like more research on, like if we want to do a video on a specific subject that's kind of beyond my scope. Like, I want to lean on people who've done like good research on that end. So. I will keep the conversation lines open. Sawa, do me a favor. Please email me at info@apologiacenter.com. And then just so we can create a communication avenue there. And then if I'm working on a video or something like that and I need help, I can shoot it to you and be like, hey, can you give me some material on this? And we'll go from there. It's a good thing that Arthur didn't bully me as well. How convenient. I did bully you.
Good stuff, good stuff. Wow, we've been on long today.
That's cool. Yeah, we did. 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I need to use the bathroom.
My wife said, make sure Tom doesn't leave because she has to give you something.
Better be good.
Yeah. Well, hey, Tom, thanks. It's been a great Monday, man. The video I put up on, I put out a video on JD Vance. We did the stream on Friday. I cut it out. I put it up. Would really appreciate you guys sharing that out. I think it's a common sense video. It's doing pretty decent considering the recent views on some of my videos. I think we're past 1,000 views on that. We'd really appreciate you guys to watch it, to share it out, share it with your friends, because it brings good attention to this channel. Over the weekend, we got past 9,500 subscribers. Come on now. We're
going to have that 10,000 celebration
we have a goal. We have a goal to hit 10,000 by January 1st, which means we got all of November, all of December.
We can do it. We can do it, guys.
I think it's possible, considering that we're actually getting... I'm
uneducated. I didn't go to college, university, etc. You're more educated. Trust me.
Than you.
No, just Not going to college, you're probably more
Oh,
educated.
I get what you're saying.
Saul was saying, I'm
Well, hey, I went to university.
What's that saying? Don't let school ruin your education.
That's true. By the way, look at that. Look at our Armenian numbers.
That's amazing. 4,000?
Yeah,
You're kidding me.
it's booming.
So you already have 10,000 subscribers.
No,
just
that
on two
doesn't
different
count.
channels.
I mean, I don't run.
Yeah, no one else subscribe, please. We already hit all
no,
the...
no. But like subscribers wise, like we're
Wow,
doing really
that's
good.
great.
Like every time he puts something.
Did
out,
you see the president of Armenia shared on that TRT, like Turkish network this morning?
No.
Yeah, like they shared his speech, like agreeing with him. It's pretty intense. Maybe I'll show you that afterwards.
So we're getting.
Wow, we still got
look at
18 people in here. Let's continue the conversation.
Hey, look at the numbers we're getting on the Armenian. Look at the numbers we're getting on the Armenian channel.
I
on
can't
videos.
see, man. I can't see. My vision is blurry.
What do you mean?
Brother, you don't have water for me? Guys, I've been doing this for 2.5 hours without water. You guys, he didn't even give me water today. He's starving me in here.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. He brought me tea.
And I brought him tea.
Yeah,
I
he
went
did.
and got him tea.
He did. So we're doing decent. Look at that, Tom.
What is that? That's good. That's good.
We're at
9,517.
95.17. And like my guess would be in the next 4 days we'll be at 95.50. Like that's the kind of way we're going about it in regards to the amount of subscribers we're hitting.
Amazing.
Like it's pretty decent. Like we're getting 12, 14, 7 a day. But hey, sharing it out, getting some eyes on it helps quite a bit. So with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Guys, I saw this intense video. I sent it to you. Can you just play this video where it's so good? But like, we gotta just like disappear after. Like, it's gotta be this video, and then we just gotta like it can't be all right. See you guys later. Just like, can we do that?
I'm gonna try. Is it this one?
Yeah, this is such a great video, by the way. I could sit here another 2 hours and talk about this video, but that's another. Guys, you're gonna get pumped up right now, especially you, Jerome. You're gonna get pumped up right now with this video. It's gonna pump you up, and then this is gonna be one of the best Mondays ever, and you're gonna be happy you joined. All right, now just wait like 30 seconds.
Is this a TikTok video?
No, it's on Twitter. I mean, X.
No.
Are you not logged into X?
No, I am.
Okay. Yeah, just, oh my God, this pumped me up so much last night, guys. I wanted to literally join the military.
Oh, this
And
is
then I
how
had
they,
to,
this
like,
is
calm
how they
myself
get
down.
you. This is how they get you.
Yeah, but it's pretty intense. Can you, like, make it bigger?
No.
I mean, you can't, like, make it large. Oh, there, you can do it. Take me off the screen. I'm going to cry.
I'm not gonna take you off the screen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Okay.
Our Father.
Whoa.
in
Imagine that coming after your butt. Imagine the Lord's Prayer. Like, imagine they're praying that, and they're coming after you, Nigeria.
Oh gosh.
Oh, man, that's intense. I'm proud to be an American, honestly.
Yeah.
Are you not proud? Like, is that
I'm
not a proud moment for you? It's a very proud moment for me.
I'm so uncomfortable with it.
Come on, man. Don't be. It's very. I'm very comforted. Like, I'm very comforted
So,
knowing that
let me
that's what our
ask-
Department of War is doing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'll ask the chat. How many of you guys are actually a bit bothered by, like, okay, so it's the Lord's Prayer, it's God's kingdom coming and stuff, but everything's about America. Like, you're praying for God's kingdom to come, but it's actually like showing American might and power and America's kingdom coming. Kind of cringe.
Yeah, I wasn't reading it as America's
I know.
king. I was reading it as like,
But it's
we're
the
going into
But
whatever
it's
we need to with the
Department
power of
the
God.
War of America. Showcasing their weapons, Tom. It's okay. I know why you would get pumped over that. I'm just saying, for someone who needs to be theologically nuanced there. Yeah. With all that said, God bless the United States of America.
Yes,
No question
yes.
about that. Though I am wearing England team's jersey. Big shout out to my very good friend Jerome for bringing this to me from England.
Yes.
He brought this. I'm wearing it because Liverpool won this weekend. Jerome's team is rocking it, by the way. Big time. I'm hoping that they go on a losing streak at some point or another.
All right.
We good?
Shalom.
Okay. Shalom, everybody. Take care. God bless you guys, man. Now everyone's going to say, look at that. They greeted. Go away. Groypers. I mean, who calls themselves groypers, man? That just sounds feminine.